What day was it? The
This
health guy.
today?
No, it was a couple weeks ago at the
Oh, yes, yeah. And she's-
Cameron.
Yes.
He's like he owns that gym.
Yeah.
He's like a big time personal trainer.
She's-
And she was like, what do you think about energy drinks? Like, they're fine. And I was like,
Well,
he said the
Yeah.
caffeine is fine. Yeah. He
Yeah.
said it depends on like what energy drink.
yes. Well, we've all got, I mean,
Cameron Brown, is that his name? I think?
I
He
can't
owns
remember,
Evolution
but
Fitness.
yeah.
Your computer's not connecting.
Yeah, she signed
Yeah.
up like that.
So.
Sorry, guys.
Tonight, you guys are, I was playing a money song for you. We're ready to make money. You guys learned how to regenerate yesterday. Tell me what you guys learned in that class, how you felt after yesterday's class. I will turn Anyone, did anyone regenerate today?
I was really inspired yesterday, to be honest. It was very cool to hear everybody working collaboratively and sharing ideas. And also viewing lead generation in a different way. Instead of like just finding someone random, you know, how to create a relationship, foster it, and, you know, use it to, you know, gain experience. So I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, one time, I was at a class and I don't remember what it was. I think it was bold. I think Steven said it's relationship building. He's like, stop calling it lead generation. Like if that word like is still icky to you, call it relationship building. So I kind of like that.
That's what you got in your little box.
Stick my mouth shut. Tell me. Amy,
Yes, ma'am.
There's Jonathan Jenkins.
Or
Tell,
it's social media and I'm not teaching them.
you guys also would learn a lot if you did. You could teach him.
Yes, yes.
What else? Anybody, any other takeaways from yesterday? Nothing. Did you guys learn how much money is in your phone? Your contacts, right? So way more than you thought, right? Even if they don't all work with you, it's kind of like hopefully a little gut punch to talk to people. If I did that, I'd probably throw up if I did that math problem. How much money I make versus how much money I could make. I'd probably throw up.
There's a class, it's not anything we're teaching at Ignite, but there's a class called Quantum Leap.
Yes, amazing class. Take it.
It
If
actually,
it comes,
a
take
lot
that
of
class.
it's geared more towards like a high school, college age. If you're shaking your head because you've taken it.
I have.
You have, okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So I really wish they would teach this course in junior high and then again in high school. And then teach it as young adults and then reteach it again, like in your, let's say, 30s. Because you look at things differently when you have a different perspective at the time of your life, right? Not necessarily your age, but like someone who's just having a baby has a different mindset and focus on what their needs and desires are than someone who's getting ready to sell their last home because they're going into a restaurant, right? They look at things differently. But this quantum leap really opens your brain to thinking bigger and bolder. And I truly believe we as real estate agents, not even just real estate agents, us as
Like a human,
self-employed salespeople. Well, I think the reason why they don't teach that in school is because they don't want you to think bigger. They want you
Wow.
to go through the system, if you will, and you get a 9-to-5 job. No offense to 9-to-5ers. But it's a whole different mindset once you are your own business owner. And this helps you realize how big your life and the life of those around you can be. If that's making sense. It's like you don't know what you don't know.
Well, like the school system right now, like I read a book, it's called like A More Beautiful Question. It talks about how the school system really is designed for the industrial age, so that people would go to school and then they would work in a factory, whatever, and then they wouldn't think big, exactly like you're saying, and that's why they don't think about more in-depth questions like they do in Silicon Valley, and they find solutions.
Yeah, so it's a difference of certain people. They think of like, what am I doing Friday? What do we got going on this weekend? What exciting things we have? Oh, it's payday Friday, right? So your mind starts thinking a little bit different than if it wasn't payday Friday, right? But when you become self-employed, you start thinking about not what you're doing next week. You're thinking about not what you're doing next month. You're like, how am I building for next year? How am I building for not just my kids, but how am I building for my grandkids? And in time, you'll be thinking that way. And I want you guys, as you're going through Ignite, be thinking of this is the foundations, if you will. I'm gonna put this in house terms, okay, since that's what we're here for, is real estate. Has anyone here built a house before? Does anyone here live in a house? Most of you. Has anyone ever been in a house? Okay, I got all of you then. Okay, so when you first build a house, you start with what they call footings, right? You guys have heard that term. The footings are underneath your foundation, and they are the building blocks. They're
They're really what's holding it up.
really what's holding it up or
Yeah.
keeping it balanced, if you will. Okay, then you do your foundation, then you pour, then they backfill it. They do your underground plumbing and electrical. Then they backfill it with gravel, then they pour your what we know as your basement floor, right? So that's the process. So I want you guys to think of Ignite, every one of these sessions, even though they are standalone, they are building your building blocks for your real estate career. So then when you fast forward to where I said, think big and how you're gonna think differently in time, you're gonna be like thankful that you did what I would say the correct habits that you learned at Ignite. Is all that making sense? Is that putting it all together?
If I could, cautionary tale, I'm a cautionary tale version of that.
Everybody, this is Jessie too. I'll just introduce you if you don't remember. So Jessie is not teaching tonight. Are you teaching this around?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'm
Am I
You teach on Friday night?
Yeah,
That's so exciting. We should bring like tacos and margaritas.
that would be fun. He's going to Como's house for the whole night.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So tacos and margs for.
Awesome.
I'm definitely down for that.
So Jessie, how long have you been an agent?
Over 4 years.
Just over 4 years, and but she has a lot of experience. She came in on fire.
I did once I hit there, once I got hooked up with the right people and started going in the right direction, but I didn't develop those habits during, when the market was really hot. You didn't have to do a lot of lead generation and you didn't have to do a lot of that foundation work. And so consequently, when the market gets rougher like that, I'm riding the roller coaster. It's different. When the market changes, it's always changing, but when it changes, I wasn't prepared for it because I didn't lay down all of these habits straight out the gate. So that was kind of a rough shift. But
So that's why you're
yeah,
here.
that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here
Awesome.
every time we run Ignite. I usually do
So-
3 or 4 of them.
One of the coolest part about Ignite and the Ignite instructors, they're all gonna be variations. There's all gonna be variations of individuals, but you're gonna get different perspectives from different agents, right? So I've been in the business for probably as
Like a
long as
day?
she's been alive.
Like a day or two.
And so my perspectives are different than hers and hers are different than hers, right? So you get different stories, different backgrounds, and that's exactly why I'm not teaching social media. Because my social media is not what it needs to be. In fact, I just signed up for
I'm
a
like the old man, like the wise old man that's been.
I'm
around
just
the
thinking
block.
So should we jump into do open houses first? Because that's out of order, but that's.
Is first.
Oh, is it first? Oh, I thought it was second. Perfect, okay.
I'm gonna show my,
Oh, perfect.
Oh, mine's my car.
I like yours. I wanna do what you guys do.
Yeah,
I
it's, I
need to do
mean,
that.
I'm still missing a whole bunch of pieces of it that are in my garage. I was like, I'm putting this in the car, so I'm ready to go for this weekend.
Yeah.
And I only put the box in. I didn't put anything else.
I just have this, someone gave me this cute gift in this basket, and so I used it, but you have a tote, like a full tote.
Yeah,
A full size tote that has all of your open house stuff in it. That way she can. She doesn't be like, okay, I can host an open house in 10 minutes. That's not why we have a tote. There's a
No.
lot of prep work you're gonna do.
Just
before
easy to
the
keep
houses.
everything in one place.
But she does have a
Yeah.
small child, right? So Saturday morning comes and she doesn't want to have to spend all week gathering the stuff.
Yeah.
So it just makes it easier. So I just kind of go
100%.
through, I haven't looked through this in a minute, but there's like pens and tape and some sign things and
you have a roll of toilet paper?
I do in my car. I have some medicine, some gum, some scissors, just different things, like a little kit. I have a little bowl for candy. I always take candy. I have some crayons in here, some buyer guides that I just have in here. I have some swag I give out, water bottles. So just like a couple little things. And then I do have this little thing that has like some magazines and some paperwork in it. that if like somebody were ready to buy, your open house kit probably has a ton more.
From that classic.
We have very different things in it. I mean, a lot of things that are similar,
You,
but,
you didn't pull that out, did you?
No, do you want me to show this?
Yeah.
You say, keep,
for instance, I don't have, magazines or contract pieces. My reason being is, the transaction never goes as smooth as it could if we don't sit down and have a consultation.
yes,
So.
never, ever.
No, that's not.
Exactly. So as much as somebody might want to go see a house, I'm really, at this point, not willing to go see a house without doing a consultation. Saving my time and their time, so.
See, and I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm different, and not that mine's better or worse, it's different. Where I make my, if a lot of times it's a sign call, which we don't have as many of those as we used to. But
I still get, just find it on a sign call.
if it's like a sign call or something that I don't really know the people, I have a conversation with them as much as possible, which today's people are trying to do it via text. And it's kind of harder to engage in an actual conversation in text. However, that's becoming the norm. So I use the opportunity to have that first showing to do a version of a consultation. And I'm hoping by the time we're done showing it, that I will have enough info and vice versa, that they're going to want to sit down and have an actual consultation. And if I have the consultation, I have them locked in. So that's how I do it.
It works. I used to just speed to lead, except speed to excitement and get them into the house, but since the lawsuit changes things, I'm like, well, it forces me to act more professional. Just going out and opening up doors and seeing houses.
Yeah, yeah. Are you guys getting, because you have listings, I'm getting, you want to show this?
So I keep one of these in my open house kit too. In fact, I keep several of them where I'll have something about me. And now with today's market where we don't have the, which you guys don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but we don't have the BAC and MLS anymore. So I'll have one that says what the BAC, what the seller is going to pay up to as one. And then I have another one that is the flyer of the house. That is also a version there. Then on the one that's about me has a QR code to my app.
Love it.
So yeah,
How do you get the QR code?
magic.
I
I am not the guy to ask.
There's
'cause
a
I don't-
creator that you can like put your website into and make any QR code. Oh, there is.
Also on your website, on your app, do you have the KW app where you search for homes? You can just share that. Like you can make, there's a
If
QR
you
code
need
on there.
to help getting a QR code made, grab it. Oh, there's
Yeah,
that.
I'll just-
There's the guy right there. That's it.
There's so many cool little tricks. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, we'll get started.
My open house kit, I have napkins in there, but they're not like, they're like the nicer version of napkins. And then I have, they're like disposable plates, but they look a little bit nicer. Because I always buy like cookies and stuff.
And that's.
And I
what
take them down of the
done,
cookie
because
thing and put them on there.
So that's why I'm. having everyone
I'm
else-
always.
Mine's exactly like that.
Okay,
Those
yeah.
exceptions.
Always a few minutes late, so I need something that's ready to go in the car, because having to pick something up, or I started right in the middle of COVID,
I
so
think
like
it's
cookies, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, see, that's smart.
Yeah.
I'm always rushing home now. I'm trying to think of how my sticker, I do have like,
I have shoe covers and stuff. You guys have shoe
Yep.
covers in yours.
shoe covers, I've
Shoe
got,
covers in
I
my
do
car.
paper towels and Clorox wipes, because sometimes you go in the
Clorox
house
wipes.
and then have,
Yeah.
because, everybody's version of clean is different, and I hate it when I walk into.
Sometimes I've come out of showing a house and I just.
Everyone's mouth, yep, I used to have hand
I actually
sanitizer.
carried a thing of masks during COVID.
Yep, and then,
So weird.
I'm trying to, there's something else that was in there that was a little bit different. Oh, my cards, and then,
I do have my card. I have this
I'm
really
sorry.
cool thing, my friend.
See, I used to do cards and I probably have a stack of my cards in mine, but I don't do them out anymore. You guys seen the script for not having a card? Does everyone here have cards?
Bad for.
You don't need cards anymore. Don't let
Yeah.
cards slow you down.
Oh, my friend.
Here's the thing. You know what? I don't have a card. I don't have a card, so can I just get your number?
yeah. That's my
And they do it. They'll do it every
Yeah.
time.
Somebody just asked me, my lender asked me to bring cards to closing so he could take my cards, and I was like, I never have cards, okay.
Yeah.
I have like, it's an app thing where I just shoot it to them and like.
You guys, that's just Jen in the back.
Jenny in the back.
She's gonna be teaching, the social media part of today, because I'm not, that's not me.
Cause he has a little less followers than her.
Yes.
Hey, you ready to go?
Yeah, sure. I
I
was,
love it.
I was ready.
You're born ready.
Where's the?
Rolling.
Okay, so on your Ignite journey, you are on capture leads with open houses. Now, I asked a question earlier and half the people didn't want to raise their hands, so I made you. How many people have been to an open house before?
How
Okay,
many,
good. How
and
many of you
have
guys been,
hosted? How many have hosted an open house? I
Awesome.
think you.
How many of you guys been to like a Parade of Homes open house? Were people lining up at the door? They not only, there's all, like a lot of people, they pay money to go see them, right? So you think about your open house, if you get your open houses like that, and you don't have to even charge them, then it's a good open house, okay? But yes, we're on capture leads with open houses, and then we're also gonna do the social media one next. Okay, so I don't know how to get rid of that thing. Is that in the way to see?
Don't think there's usually data that far over.
I was thinking that there was one in there, but there's not. Okay. So that was our agenda for today. You guys got that? I need to spit out my gum because I'm on top of my gum right now. Who wants to read that quote by Gary Kellis?
Nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads you have.
So when you read that, does that resonate with you at all?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's say, what is a franchise that you guys all went to just recently? McDonald's. Glad. I was gonna say McDonald's or Subway. Somebody usually says one of those two. Now imagine you just put up your $1 million to do your McDonald's. Then you have to guarantee this and this and right. It's not cheap. They don't just award a McDonald's to anyone. What would happen if you did and then no one even drove by? Would you be upset? When you buy into something like the McDonald's franchise, what do they guarantee?
Yeah.
Customers. They guarantee with all the studies they do that they're gonna allow a store to go in on this corner, this street, this road, whatever it may be, because you're gonna have leads. Okay, now what's the difference between a real estate agent and McDonald's?
We don't have a big business behind us feeding us customers.
Yes, you become your own brand that you got to create in order to generate enough leads and relationships, because that's really what a lead is. You turn a lead into a relationship, and that's where you get your business from. And that's why that's important. And now my thing's not working. Do I have to wiggle?
I'll
the
fix
mouse?
you. No, just I'll.
Spit on the mouse.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the stuff that you guys are probably saying to yourself. Do you want me to put it in a whiny voice? I don't have a listing. I can't do one.
Hey.
I don't have
I
any
some
signs.
Open house opportunities this weekend.
Oh, wow.
If anybody
Who wants to claim one?
wants to host an open house.
I know it's kind of short notice, but
I
Okay.
said
every
different.
week she's a great resource to get open houses. You have zero excuse. These are limiting beliefs. I may not know the answers to the questions. How do you find the answers?
Ask me.
You ask them. How do you know what they're gonna ask you? You don't. That's why you're here. Okay, and you have people to call. And how many open houses have you done?
Me?
Hundreds. I bet
Hundreds.
Jesse's done hundreds.
It's quite hundreds, but a lot.
Did you allow someone to help you with an open house?
Absolutely.
That's novel. Open houses don't really work. Who says open houses don't work? I love this one. And why do I love this one?
Because it's easy to debunk.
I love this one because a lot of agents go out and tell their sellers that open houses don't work. Therefore, when you do them and you do good ones, that you'll get business from it. But they go tell sellers that open houses don't work. And so when they do work and they do get a lot of people coming through them, it's not even about the people. It's about how many leads, how many people, how many touches, how many people I don't know what the word would be. Impressioned, how many impressions you've left on people. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some things on that. Now, I don't feel safe. That one could be legit depending on where you're hosting it. So when Allison says, I got 3 open house opportunities, what are the first questions you should ask her?
Where are they?
Where are they?
What time?
Where's the listing, right? So that's one of the things when her and I, because we talk regularly about open houses, I try to share the MLS thing with her so she can see it, so she can share it, because I want people to do what I consider good open houses, right? Not every house is created equal. Would you agree? Not every location of an open house is created equal. I had a listing once, horrible location. It was on a busy road, but guess what? I loved open houses because it got a lot of traffic, a lot of people through it, a lot of ability to be seen. But I also knew that wasn't a hard sell. I wasn't there for,
You weren't there necessarily to sell that house.
But if,
yes,
yeah, if they
I was
do
there
it,
to
you can sell
meet
it.
people and build my database.
How many of you guys, has anybody met, did anybody go to open houses when they were looking for a house? Like met, and is that kind of where you met an agent that you used, or no, you just went to them?
No, I just went to them. Yeah, but the open house was definitely, yeah, it opened the opportunities, to go see things too. If, like, say, my wife and I wanted to go without an agent too, we could just let her know we saw it and we're going to see this or something like that, too, but.
In a room full of experienced agents, I'll ask the question, how many people have sold their open house? And usually like 1 or 2 will raise their hand. Have you ever sold yours? Have you ever sold one? I've done hundreds of them, and I've never sold my actual open house. However,
To the person that came, into
correct,
the.
but I've
Yeah, I
sold,
have.
I've sold tons and tons
I
of
think
those
it's very
people open
cool.
houses. You what?
I didn't really come up with the one.
But you did sell one?
Yeah,
Okay.
just one.
Today's agenda, I don't know why it's on there again, probably just some more slides. Okay, who does an open house benefit?
4,
4.
you, the agent.
It's actually all of them.
Yeah.
But 4 is the #1 region, but when you're talking to your sellers to get open houses, you want to go through all of them. Now, the reason why it benefits neighbors, because it creates the opportunity. You guys ever heard of a mofer? You guys have ever heard that term? What's mofer?
Make offer for immediate response.
Yes, that's a mofer. Now, an open house gives you the opportunity to have a conversation with the nosy neighbors. They want to see what Jim and Sally had in their master bathroom because they knew they were remodeling it, right? Because how many times do you go to your neighbor's house and get to see their master bedroom? You don't, for the most part. You're looking at me all funny, like you usually do. Anyway, did you get nosy neighbors? You get nosy neighbors, but it allows you to engage. Now, what does a neighbor want?
Neighbors,
Wants what?
good neighbors.
Good neighbors, but what else do they want?
To know how much their house is worth.
To know what their house is worth. They want to know what the neighborhood is worth in general. So it gives you the opportunity to engage in conversation that doesn't have to be pushy. So it's a mofer where you can get their information to share what?
What their house is
The
worth.
stats, right? You can add them to your database. How often do you touch your database?
Not often enough,
What does the MREA say?
36 touches.
Bam, that's what you want. Okay, so that's where you engage with the neighbors. Buyers are out looking. A lot of times they'll come through with an agent. A lot of times they come through and they say they have an agent. Great, treat them all the same. Okay, just because your agents, or they say their agent's someone that you don't like, you don't have to verbalize that. But it also, your seller will say, how'd the open house go? No questions.
Do you put
Just
it into your database, even if they say they have an agent, and then like send them an email and like
Ooh.
follow up with them?
So I have an answer for this, because I just barely. Okay, so I never
She's
throw away my open house
Override the
sign-in
brokers,
sheets.
do it.
Sorry. It's something that I just barely did, so I never throw away my open house sheets. I'm kind of like a paper hoarder, I'm always afraid I'm gonna need whatever information is on it. So I just recently cleaned up my office, gathered them all specifically in one place. And some of them are 2 or 3 years old, so how do I know those people that had an agent 2 or 3 years ago were able to purchase a house and I mean, who might need to move and might not have liked their agent? So I've ended up going back through, I started calling all of those, even whether they had an agent or not.
So I've got one from like 2 months ago, and I was like, do I add him? Do I try and like reach out to him? I don't know. But he said they have an agent.
I would reach out to them
Yeah.
because you don't know that they signed that agent. I would just reach out.
Now,
Yeah.
you gotta do it, and you gotta do it in a, this is the
Yeah.
principal broker speaking. You gotta do it in a way that's cautious, that if they turn you into their agent, you can just say, hey, I'm fine with you. I know, I remember meeting you at 123 Main Street at the open house, and you mentioned you had an agent. I actually saw a home that was kind of like what you were talking about. I was wondering if you purchased a home yet or not, right? And then if they say, yeah, I purchased a home, or no, we're still looking, say, great, I'm happy to share it with you or your agent if you'd like. Then you get, at least you get it without being offensive. Does that make
Just
sense?
Ask for some feedback. Too, like ask for some feedback on that house, and so it wasn't very long ago, I probably remember it.
It's, in my opinion, it's the best way to build your database. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a little secret about how I built my career when I was young, in my 20s.
I know it's dropping.
This was back when the MLS wasn't like what we have today. This is way before, I'm gonna scare you, this is way before the internet was even invented. In fact, we didn't even have computers that we use regularly. That's how old I am. I'm an old, super old guy. So what I would do is, the way people would find information is they used to have to come to us agents, not the other way around, right? Because like nowadays, a lot of times the client or the potential client will find something on the internet through Zillow, Realtor.com, you know, all the different apps and all the different websites are out there. Then they contact an agent, right? That's typically, it's used to be reversed. We used to have to bring them the stuff. So I used to go into these new construction neighborhoods, and I would go to all the builders. Let's say that this subdivision had 5 different builders in there. I would go on the weekdays. I would say, hey, who's your boss? Who's the builder? And I would talk to them and I would say, what's your price? What are your options? Right. And it wasn't organized back then. They would basically have a sheet, or they'd write something down randomly. And they would say, if you bring me an offer, great. And I'd say, we pay me 3%. And they said, yes. Now I wasn't going after them to list the property. I was going out there to bring them a buyer. And then I had this Jeep with no top on it. I would have I was a single guy, so I had like a lawn chair in the back. I would have my music going, and I had a little A-frame sign that said real estate information here. And I would go on the weekends and I would sit in these new construction subdivisions in the road with my flip-flops. With my flip-flops and shorts. And people would drive through the neighborhood and they'd like, hey, do you know the information on that house? And I'd say, absolutely. And I would, do you know the information on that one? They'd be different builders. Every week I would bring an offer on Monday to the builder, to one of the different builders. And they're like, how are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know. So I did open houses without even really doing an open house, if that makes sense. So I built my whole career off open houses. So if anyone ever tells you open houses don't work, tell them they're lying. They're absolutely lying.
But
And I
I
know-
respect the hustle. Like you went out there and did it
Well,
when everybody was like,
Guys,
that's never gonna work. And
here's
you're
a
like,
secret.
watch me.
here's a secret, you guys. No one's gonna break in and save your life. Like, you gotta save your own life.
Yeah.
You gotta create your own destiny. You gotta do it. You guys don't know Bradley's dad, Matt. He built a lot of his career off his open houses. They did in Park City. These people would come in town, right? They're vacationers, tourists, whatever you want to call them. And they would literally have the time frame there. They were there not just to meet them, but to capture them as clients. So when by the time they left, they were buying homes. Now, I don't know what his average sales price was when he started doing it, but it's a lot higher than here. Right? So imagine if you capture someone who's buying a second home for $1 million, 15, 20 years later, how much is that same home worth? Does that client want to repeat business? Because they want a local expert, right? So you can build your whole career off open houses. So here are the benefits of it. It's inexpensive. It's a good prospecting tool. It's a high return on investment, and you get qualified leads. Now, I'm going to argue the leads today, not necessarily qualified, they're all, let's say, they might be qualified, but there's variations of quality. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, I don't know why it's all hard already. Let's go into best practices. Okay, so set your goals. And I'm not talking about your goals for your entire year. I'm talking about your goals for that open house. Now, Allison mentioned she had some open house opportunities. So your goal should be A, to get one scheduled, B, to schedule one that you're going to get enough visibility that made it worth your time. C, you're going to want to knock so many doors. Okay. Then you want to write so many thank you cards. And then you want to add people to your so many people to your database. Those are the goals that I'm talking about that you should be setting. Okay, so what was goal number 1? For those who weren't writing your,
Make
right,
sure that it's worth your while.
make sure it's worth your while. What's two?
Knock X on the door.
Was that two? Or was that three? What was two?
I don't know.
Anyone else write them down?
I was going back, like, where-
What did you say? Add that people to your database was the last one,
Thank you,
but
Carlos.
you really should have,
Or-
you really should have goals for each step along the way.
What were the steps? I got knock doors, write notes.
First one
Oh,
is,
visible, like you're visible with number
I'm
two.
losing my voice. Quality open house. What was the second one? That was the one we don't
So
know.
is it visible, like that you're gonna get out there, like
Oh,
make yourself.
is
known.
it gonna help get you, I
Your
don't remember what
presence.
word I use.
You mean like promote it so people come?
Exposure.
Like,
Yeah, exposure.
marketing yourself.
Okay, but the last one, because they all lead up to adding so many people to your database. Now, when I said knock doors, let's quantify that with an actual number. How many doors do you guys think is acceptable to knock before an open house?
Well, the playbook says 100.
Bam, 50 on each side.
You guys are
Now-
all the playbook in the email tonight as well.
So when she said, do you want to do an open house this weekend? You're gonna have to jump on it because you're gonna be behind the
gotta do
thing. If I was to look at my calendar right now, I would probably schedule my open house 2 weeks out. Knowing so many days before I'm gonna start this, so many days after that, I'm gonna do that, right, all the way up to the open house. Now, when's the best time to door knock?
I've just said.
The time that you can.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. If you knock on my door, well, I'm not gonna answer anyway, because I'm just not gonna answer.
Cause he's here all the time.
Because I'm never, yeah, my door rings all the time, and my dogs just scare the crap out of them. Anyway, so the playbook says, so think 50 on each side. Now, if you knocked, when I say knock 50 on each side, is that just knock and run? Is that knock? Okay, it does sound better, doesn't it? Don't be afraid, okay.
Wasted to me,
There-
honestly.
In
Doors wasted.
in Seinfeld, George Costanza was telling, what was Elaine and Jerry, that he likes the appointments when the other people don't show up. I'm like, what? And that the whole show was about that. I'm just like, what an idiot. Anyway, you want people to knock on the door. Now, when the playbook says knock on 100 doors, because it's trying to have you have so many conversations. Now, so your goal could be, part of your goals could be, is I'm going to knock on the 100 doors, but I want 50 conversations. So let's say you hit your 100 goal, your 100 door knock goal, but you only had 40 conversations. What does that mean? You got to knock some more doors to get your 50 conversations, because conversations is really where it's at. Okay. Now, do we need to pause and do script practice for what that conversation could sound like?
Sure.
Anyone else want it? Okay. So you're the homeowner.
Sure. What do you want?
Hey, I'm hosting the Johnsons down the street. They've asked me, they've hired me to do an open house. So I'm coming here to invite you.
Awesome. What time?
It's Saturday, 11 to 2.
Well, I'll be there.
Perfect. So I want you to help me pick your neighbors.
Okay,
Oh, what was your name, by the way?
Isaiah,
Isaiah? Okay, great. Isaiah, you're gonna come on Saturday?
definitely.
Okay, can I get your name and number to remind you?
Sure.
Was that hard?
Wow, he was easy, like.
Yeah.
But
I would want to go.
Knock on my door. Oh, I don't want any solicitors.
I'm not soliciting.
What do you want then?
The Johnsons hired me to host their home open this next Saturday, 11 to 1. They said that you're the nicest guy in the world. And they said you're so popular, you have lots of friends, and that I should make sure to tell you so you can invite your friends to come see it.
Well, now I'm flustered.
I feel like my friends are coming.
You want to help pick your neighbors? Okay, great. Can I get your name and number to remind you of the open house?
No.
Okay, see now most people are gonna say no, right? Sometimes they'll say yes. Don't be afraid to ask the question. Now, do I look like I'm bleeding? Do I look like I got a fat lip or anything? No, the answer is no. There's no pain. It's just, you just gotta ask the questions. Okay, got it? Okay, so we're on set goals. and I went the wrong way.
How many thank you cards do you write?
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Because it is, do you give a thank you card to like people that you talk to around the neighborhood, or just when they come to the open house and they write down their information?
Okay, so how many open houses do you think are held open by all brokerages in the area? Probably hundreds every week, right? Maybe not hundreds, but lots of them. Now, how many agents do you think go ask for permission to use the corner for your sign?
Not many.
Not many.
None. I try.
None. That's more often than not. So if you go ask for permission, they're gonna be like, what? Then you give them a thank you card for allowing them to use their corner.
It's a great idea because I
'Cause no one else is doing it. So now you just set the bar higher for real estate agents. So now that person's gonna think of, I'm gonna use that dude. Does that make sense? So when I say write thank you cards, they're not just to the buyers and sellers coming through. Some of them you might, if it's a long engaged conversation. However, the thank you cards are for the people that are gonna allow you to use their corners. Now, what happens if they say no?
Don't use it.
I would.
Yeah, okay.
I would just say, you know what, the Johnsons actually, and it is, I was just trying to be courteous. I'll make sure it's not in the way it's not impeding your lawn mowing or shoveling or whatever it may be, right? But it is, because it's considered city property. So. But they don't know that, right? I mean, you want to just engage nicely. So.
So you tell them like straight up, you're like, I'm gonna use it anyway, or do you just?
No. No, I would evaluate the other corners and if you could do it.
Okay.
But don't feel like just because they were kind of an a-hole.
I
Now,
mean, I would do it, but
the
then
fact that I would go
look back
knock and I would
sign.
ask permission. I lived on a corner, I've lived on a couple corners. And agents would not just put up signs, they would like do the ones where you hammer in the ground. Like, and I'm just like, dude, like you hit my sprinkler, like you're messing up the flowers. Like I've had times where, and they're agents who are just like, why didn't you just come knock on my door? In fact, one of the times I was outside in my garage, like in the driveway area, when they came and put it up. And I'm just like, why don't you just like ask?
Were you weightlifting at the time?
I go to the gym regularly and I always have. So, but that wouldn't be why. They just weren't being very nice. So anyway, we already talked about picking the house. Prepare and practice. What are we prepared?
Knowing that, like, what the, like, numbers are and
What numbers?
like around the neighborhood and
Okay.
kind of like the schools and like different things around. the
That's
area.
perfect. So you want to know what your listing is. You want to know what the schools are. You want to know, like, it's pretty easy to find the demographics to a neighborhood, right? So if someone goes, I don't like this one because this one's got stairs, or I don't like this one because it doesn't have stairs. I don't like this one because it doesn't have a third bathroom, right? You want to be able to say, oh, you know what? There is one right down the street, similar floor plan. However, I know it does have that third bathroom, right? So that's the kind of stuff. Now, where do you get this stuff?
MLS.
MLS. Okay, you can get the MLS. There's also a sub thing in your MLS. Okay, everyone here has access to your MLS. Okay. On your MLS, you have your main, I don't know what's that called, Bradley? Like a taskbar at the top?
Yeah.
Then you have those sections that go down to the left. You guys clicked on that stuff. Okay, so one of those on the left is called Remine. Remine is real estate mining is how they came up with that name. It has the demographics of every area in the entire country. So you can put in the address of the home you're doing, it's going to give you the demographics of the neighborhood. How far they travel for work, their level of education, their average income, it's going to give you everything. Okay, so now when a neighbor comes through, you're going to know the demographic of who the neighbor is. Does that all make sense? It just gives you more stuff. Now, the more educated you guys are, the more professional you will sound. Pick the time. What is the appropriate time? It's kind of a trick question.
Yeah.
When according to the thing, it says anywhere from like 11 to 1 or like.
According to the playbook, that's the thing.
Huh?
It said according to the thing,
The playbook, sorry.
the playbook.
Yeah.
Bradley said 11 to 1.
Whenever you can do it.
11 to 1 is probably the most common, but it's really whenever you can do it. Because there's people who can do them on weekend or weekdays. They can't do them on weekends. When does a builder have their model homes open?
Saturday.
It's really every day except for Monday typically. 'Cause they're playing catch up from the weekend. So you really could hold an open house whenever you want, whatever's gonna work. However, not every open house is gonna be created equal based upon the time. Are you guys familiar with Ski Lake Village up in Ogden Valley? No. It's probably not the best example, but I will use this one anyway. It used to be the bottom of Old Snow Basin Road. So you wouldn't want to host an open house in the middle of the day. You'd want to host it early in the morning or right after skiing, so you get all the people. So you have to look at the house. Remember, we talked about picking the house, figure out that house based upon the demographics, because you can go look at Remind. You can figure out the best time to host it. Now, if you are doing an open house right next to a church, when should you do that one? Sunday, probably 3 o'clock. Right? Yeah. So you'll get people as they leave church. Right? So it's all based upon the house, but it's also whenever you can do it. What's that saying? What's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, what's the second best time? Right now, the same thing as an open house. When's the best time? 2 weeks from now, the second best time is whenever you can. Okay, prepare stats. The stats we talked about, you want to get as much info as possible. Now, this gets easier as you start doing them more and more often. And then you want to be safe. So use the buddy system, arrive early, park on the street. Now, this time of year, today's not a very good example because it's not snowy, but this time of year
It will be.
yeah, it's true. It's supposed to snow this weekend, hopefully across the borders. You got to prepare for the snow, so you can't always park on the street, but sometimes the homes that we do are vacant. Check all entrances and exits, make sure your cell phone is fully charged, turn on all the lights. I turn on inside and outside. Oh, and if the house is vacant, a lot of times I'll turn it on because I'm door knocking in the neighborhood. A lot of times I'll turn them on, the exterior lights on a day or two in advance. Why do I do that? Yeah, they're gonna say, what the heck? Someone there now, right? We don't need to check for
If
your
it's
COVID
vacant and
guidelines.
cold, get there early to turn the heat on.
Hopefully the heat's already on.
Yep.
Actually, that is an excellent question that when Allison says, I got some open house opportunities, great, is this one vacant, is this one occupied, is the heat on? Right? That same thing in the summer, is the AC on? Also, do I need to bring a chair? Because how many times you've been to open house when there's nothing and you're sitting on the counter?
I said.
That doesn't
I
look
sit
professional
with
when a
some-
client walks in.
I can hear them before the door opens. So like I can hear them when the door opens, so I can get up and act like I was just walking through the house.
So, I'm gonna embarrass myself and tell you a funny story.
You just saw.
This was an open house when I was young, and I was young and single, and I didn't get much sleep the night before, and I'm at the open house and I just barely got one eye open. And I sat in this recliner and it was like full on comfortable. And I fell asleep. I fell asleep and I got woke up by this sound and the shaking. I had no idea this house backed to train tracks. Thank God for that train, because it scared the crap out of me. But I got up just in time for the seller to come home. That means I was there for at least sleeping for at least an hour. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want to get that call. Like, "Hey, you're the broker. This person was sleeping." So anyway, be safe. Be safe. Okay, prepare, prospect, and pursue. The difference between the big and really big is how you manage your time and focus. Now, we talked about quantum leap. This is what that's referring to. Prepare, prospect, and pursue. Okay, so what do we prepare?
What do we prepare?
Mhm.
Our
First one's right there.
flyers, our marketing.
Mindset.
I mean, it doesn't even.
Mindset. And then you get your stats. But I think getting all your stats and getting all that's gonna help your mindset get there. Because if you've never done regular open houses, there's a chance you're gonna be nervous. Would you agree or disagree? You probably would, right? So you gotta be ready to do it. Now, I'm a true firm believer in that your energy that you portray, that you put out there, that you vibrate, right? Can make or break your day and other people's day as well, right? So if you're not in the proper mindset and you're ornery, you're grumpy, you've got this and this, is your open house gonna be as successful? Probably not, right? So you gotta be mentally there, mentally and emotionally. Practice your conversations. Who do you practice your conversations with?
Other agents,
Other agents. Who do you not want to practice on?
customers.
Customers, right? So when you are practicing, throw random things out there, like, I don't remember what you told me, but he was trying to be mean, right? And I flustered him because I changed it and I was nice. Right? So just practice different things. Now, you don't have to just be like practicing the script. It could be practicing if they say, I don't like this one because of this bed and bath. You can practice going through your stuff to see what you have, right? That'll help you get to know it. What else? Monday, select the house. Oh, so we're breaking down the time frame. This is why I was saying do it 2 weeks in advance. But I truly believe this should be for today's Friday. You should be working on your open houses for next week. Select the house, post online, which we're going to talk about the social media stuff in a minute. That's part of it, the door knocking. A lot of people send it to your database. My database got sick and tired because I was always doing open houses. They got sick and tired of like, Sean, I'm not going to buy this house. Why do you keep sending me random ones? So I don't always invite my database, but then I post online. Now, when you're hosting an open house, you can put it in the MLS, whoever the listing agent is, even if it's not you, their MLS has a certain tab that they can do it. And almost every one of the search engines have the same thing. So I can just go on Yahoo or Bing.
Yeah.
I can go on DuckDuckGo and I can type in open house near me and you can find open houses, right? They're not just on Google, they're everywhere else. They're everywhere. So when you're constantly posting them in advance, you can get more people there. Now, when it says post online, they're referring to your social media. So I've never made a reel. I never made a reel, but I got a guy that makes them for me. I just don't know how to post them. But I really wish someone would help me post them.
Jared?
Yeah. I've got hundreds of them now. And everyone says they get so much traffic. And I'm like, cool, well, someone post it. So I really wish when someone says, yeah, Sean, I'm gonna do an open house for you, that they could take that reel and post it. I just don't know how to do it. Anyway, you guys are gonna learn that today.
I've got a question for you.
Is it about posting reels?
Well, it's about, like, this really happened in an open house. This couple came in and two families came in literally 15 minutes before the end, right? And so I was dealing with two families at once. And one of them, like, I was talking to the wife and the husband went around, he started filming like the house. When I went through like the ethics class, the attorney was like, oh, that's bad. You shouldn't have let him do that. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Tackle him or like take the phone from him or say, oh, please don't do that. By the time I realized that he had done it, he'd already walked through the entire upper floor. How would you handle that?
That is great. That's an excellent question. So with someone filming the interior of someone else's home is a privacy issue, right? So they're putting it at jeopardy. Now, when you have a listing, you need to warn your sellers that there's an opportunity someone might do something like that. Okay, you're going to get all different people. Now, what you should say during those weird altercations, I guess you don't want to be an altercation, but those weird circumstances, you want to say, hey, out of politeness for towards the seller and the safety of the seller and their family, we ask that you don't take, video. Now, if they're like, I just want to be able to remember this one because I love it, and they're a potential buyer, then you're like, well, then let's do this. How about I get dimensions of each room? Because do you guys know what Cubicasa is? Not yet. Cubicasa is this super cool thing that you have as part of our MLS. You turn on the app and you walk around the house and you hold your phone so it goes like out on the floor and partway up the wall, and you walk around the interior of the house, but it measures it, and you can have it to where it puts the dimensions in there. And you literally can say bathroom, den, kitchen, and then it labels it as you're walking through videoing it. Hint there is put your phone on airplane mode, because if you get a call in the middle of it, it makes you start over. Anyway, you could say, I have the layout of it. How about I get you all the media on it, including the Cubicasa floor plan? they would be like, oh, that's cool. But then you know they're legit. Now, another part of it, the one thing on there about being safe. I don't want to scare you, but there's been times where people would come into a house, they would separate, one would go this way, one would go that way. Sometimes there was more than just two. And you get someone who's in the, looking for prescription pills, you get this person's looking for that, but it's a distraction. And if you come across that, it doesn't happen very often, but we want you to report it, so then we can put something out to all the members of the board and say, watch out for the family, they use the alias, blah, blah, blah. And they were driving a white panel van that said free puppies, right? Then there might be a chance that it's weird.
Yeah.
So. There's gotta be some point where you kick people out, or maybe not, maybe that's never happened, maybe people only come who are all sober and cool.
No,
But
they're not all sober and they're not all cool.
yeah, you probably had to kick someone out before.
Well, I won't let them in.
Okay, so as soon as they come in, you're just like, no.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so, there's you have a sign-in sheet created, right? It could be an electronic version or a handwritten version. So I have them sign in as they come in. If they refuse to sign in, I don't let them come in.
Sure.
Right? Now, that's not gonna mean that they don't write Fred Flintstone or Mickey Mouse and put a 1, 2, 3, 4 as their phone number, but at least they're doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Complying.
so I asked them to sign in.
And if I'm doing the paper sign-in sheet, I just use my brother every time. I just write my brother's name, phone number on there so that there's already one person signed in. So other people are just like, oh yeah, it's what other people are doing too. People are
Actually,
followers.
that's a, I can't remember what they call it. Similar to the neuro-linguistic program,
Yeah.
but it's like a social hack
Uh-huh.
where you
I can
fill out
give
the
you-
entire, oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's say you got a 3-ring binder, it could be more rings, but let's say you have all of your open house sign-in sheets. You could literally take your open house sign-in sheet, have it nicely printed, make it look all nice, but you can just reuse the same one.
For different open houses.
So you can
Yeah.
just have a book of them. So where
The
you're,
board
oh, I'm
sells
doing
those
this one.
ones too.
And then so her brother signed, he's the first one on the top of all of them, but someone came through the last open house and there might be 6 people. They're like, well, you already had 6 people come through. I'm like, yeah. Right? Because more people they see on there.
The more
more they
new,
wanna do it.
exciting houses.
Yep.
Yeah, but always fill it out all the way. Fill it out all the way, because then they feel obligated to fill it out all the way, because like, you think you're filling out a form. If you see
It is
somebody,
fun, yeah.
in team meetings are a good example of that. If somebody doesn't put in the name and phone number, or their phone number and email at the beginning, a lot of people end up skipping putting in that information, whereas if everybody fills it in, the more likely they'll feel compelled to
Yep.
finish it.
Yep. Well, everything. It definitely helps. So that is not always the easiest, most comfortable thing to do, but you gotta remember, hey, you know what, the seller, whatever, I usually try to use them by their name, especially when I'm door knocking, maybe not so much in the house. Hey, you know what, for the safety of the seller, they're asking us, and part of our deal is that we're gonna have everybody sign in. And if you're not wanting to, then you can't really come through. They'll be respectful for the most part.
Or they'll leave,
Mhm.
but. if they're
Which is not a big deal.
Yeah.
So. Okay, oh, maybe this next slide will have, so the day of your open house. Let's say the open house is on Saturday, they're acting as if this one already is set for Saturday. So always arrive super early. How long does it take to set up signs?
Minimum 15 minutes.
Always
usually
longer than
way
you think.
longer.
It's always longer than you think, because you gotta wait for the car, other cars to come, you got people walking, you gotta turn around, then you gotta turn around again. Like, it always takes longer than you anticipate. Now,
I say plan on half an hour.
so when you go out knock in the neighborhoods, remember I talked about asking for permission? Get an idea of where you're gonna put your signs, because a lot of times we don't have an idea where we're gonna put our signs, so that adds to the time of setup. Now, also, so you gotta think of half hour to 40 minutes in advance. It's not just putting up your signs. Now, I don't know how everyone sets their signs up first. I go to the house. I turn on all the lights, do the blinds, whatever I'm gonna do in the house. Then I leave the house and do my first sign in front of the house, and then do my signs going back out. Does that make sense? And I have no idea if that's the best way. That's the way I've always learned that it's worked.
I do it because I don't like when people show up early and I'm not ready at the house. And then I like I don't like people still being there, watching me set up. So the first sign I post is a sign that says the time that the open house is open out front. And then I go out from there, so that if somebody happens to beat me there, they know it doesn't
They
start
just
until
wait
that
that
time.
time. Just, I think Jessica Oops does that too.
Yeah.
So a lot of signs have a thing at the top where you can put a rider on it. Or hang them on the bottom. So if you're gonna hold an open house and you're door knocking, there's no reason why you couldn't put open house Saturday. If you have ones that are made for the set times you're always doing, you could put it up Friday night.
That's what I have started doing, is doing signs ahead of time, Friday night, so that.
There was a question over here. Someone raised their hand.
Yeah, so I had a question, because I swear it says in the playbook that to put the signs up the night before.
Some cities will take your signs.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Stuff like that,
Yeah.
like.
Almost all.
Cities are taking them.
Yeah.
So
They
they-
give them back.
Yeah, so.
No.
Sometimes, not guaranteed.
City don't put signs up any other time except for the time that your house is, so not. every
Yeah,
day,
the,
they will take them.
But I did that in Perry.
The
Yeah.
sign ordinance guys are bored and have nothing to do. You're mad, they hate.
And they like
realtors.
the authority.
Sounds like it.
So I do, like, I'll do one on Friday, in front of the house, and then, if there are like artery, like main streets going to the house, I'll knock the door and see if they'll let me leave the sign.
So, how many signs do you put out?
I think I've got like 25, maybe 30.
You probably don't use them all every time, but there's times you probably do.
Yeah, there's times I'm like, man, I need more signs.
Mhm.
The one thing that I realized is, I used to think, oh, this probably looks ridiculous that there's so many signs. People are like, oh my gosh, this is overdone. But the reality is like, it's catching attention. So like the more signs you have, even if it looks ridiculous out front, that you have like 5 different open house signs sitting out front. Like if I have extras leftovers, I put them all out front.
There's so
Do
many-
you put balloons on?
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because they always blow away. or
Makes a
get
lot of work,
caught.
huh?
They're messy, yes, but I have feather flags. So if there's a good space on like the main road, I'll put a feather flag up.
Okay,
That's my
awesome.
solution.
That you, put your phone number on your sign.
I do, yes. My thought process on that is if somebody takes them, they still have the opportunity to get back to me, give them back to me. Or if somebody wants more info, they can always reach out to you.
Or if you like accidentally leave one behind. they can be Like,
Yes.
hey, yeah, that lost.
So I don't know if anybody's been down 5,600 last year in July, but I had my husband help me picking up signs, and apparently my sign was on 5,600 through all the construction for like a month and a half. I drove back down there and was like, oh, that's my sign. The construction workers are working. Yeah,
But I love it.
yeah.
I would say put up as many signs as you possibly can. I'm not gonna say that there's a minimum, but you really should have more than 5 or more. You will, when you are building your open house kit over time, there's no reason why you have to order 30 of them at once.
no,
That's
you're
dumb. We have probably, what, 25 back there?
Five packs.
We lend them out in 5 packs.
When the
We lend them out in 5 packs, but you have to sign for them, because you don't bring it back, we're gonna turn your house and get you. However, start ordering your own, but order them in groups of 5. And you gotta remember, they're disposable, they'll get taken, they'll get ran over, they'll get crushed.
You'll borrow them from somebody and they will smash them.
Yep, so you
not bring them home.
You just gotta know, you gotta keep tabs on them, if you will, that you're like, oh, this one's getting a little raggedy, I gotta replace it. But I order mine in groups of 5. I don't have 30, I think I have 20, 25, something like that, probably 22, because I know some of them.
I have five too. So I have like smaller ones that are arrows that just say open house, and then I have some bigger ones that are a little bit more eye catching. I like to use, sorry, to go down the road on it. I use my small ones for directional stuff, and then my big ones on like the main arteries or main streets in front of the house and stuff like that.
You got a question?
No, I'm just gonna say, I've had really good, drop-bys with signs, just people, so, but just in the last few weeks. It hasn't traditionally been, like, last year, we didn't get a lot, but this year, like, half the people are coming in off the signs.
The open houses, you'll get a lot of people who just saw a sign, so they stopped it. Right? Sometimes they're just bored and they got nothing else to do and they want to cook. Who cares? Right? Okay. we talked about, when that person comes through, that when we were role playing and you get them information, the neighbors are gonna want information. Sometimes they want relocation information. They could be, I was using, Matt, Bradley's dad as an example. He's getting people who are coming from outside the area, so it's gonna be more community type information, not just, neighborhood specific. A lot of times if it's a first time home buyer, what do they know?
Nothing.
They know whatever their friend from work told them. And is their friend from work an expert? Probably not a very good expert, right? But they don't know that. So they're gonna wanna have they're gonna have questions that they don't know, right? There's gonna be things that they're not sure they need to ask, but so you'll help them through it. Okay, so an example would be, Allison, what is an example of a first-time home buyer doesn't realize they need to ask or need to do first?
Get.
Someone said it,
Yeah, Blake said it. Get
pre-approved. Yeah, so they're
There's a
like,
lot though, there's a lot more than that.
yeah, there's a, that's just like, oh, so you're a first-time home buyer, that's awesome. So if you've never owned a home before yet, do you know what you can qualify for?
Or even,
What?
I'm going on a virus.
Right, so you start having those conversations, that's how you can pick them up, that's part of the dialogue. Mortgage information. This could be pertaining to the house. This could be pertaining to a first-time home buyer. This could be pertaining to any grant that possibly could be offered in the area. Okay, or a builder, a lot of times a builder will have some sort of incentive where they'll do buy downs, stuff like that.
How much info should you give them on lending? Cause I try to stay in my lane.
So give them enough info that they feel that the conversation is valuable, that they want to share their contact info. Don't be quoting rates, don't be, so you can meet with your lender. Tommy is happy to, when you say I'm gonna do a listing, sorry, I'm gonna do an open house on this listing at 123 Main Street. He could give you 3 different variations of FHA, VA, and conventional. So when someone says, hey, what would the financing be on this place? You could hand them that sheet.
Alright.
So, yeah. Look at that, it even says. Little disclaimer. Build trust and rapport. How do you build trust and rapport?
Ask questions.
Ask questions and listen. That's something that we don't do in our today's society enough, because we don't listen enough. You got to provide value. Now, your value that you're believing they need to know may not be the value that they want, because you didn't ask the appropriate questions or enough of them. Okay, so you got to figure out what their hot buttons are, if you will, because then that way you can become attracted to them, so that you're building your value through the trust and rapport. Then they'll give you their information. And what information are you trying to gather?
Their name,
Name,
phone number,
phone number,
email,
email,
address,
address, social,
time frame.
Over time, you'll want to get their social media, not their social security. Okay, because you want to engage and become their friend. Okay, so that's kind of stuff. Now, on your, like when I was saying you don't have to let them in, you don't have to get all of that before you let them in, right? You're going to get that over time. Okay. So you want to get it to where when you add it to the database, you can have a good database. Build trust and rapport, greet everyone that comes to the door, engage in conversation, be positive. We talked about the mindset earlier. Know the stats. Now, you guys are all pretty much new. Do you know your stats? The answer is yes. What are your stats? Probably not a lot of them. Would you agree? So what stats do you use?
Keller Williams.
The office stats.
Yeah.
Use the office stats.
So,
Yeah, so use the office stats and we can help you get those. Know your market stats. What is a market stat that people ask regularly?
How often are houses on market? How long are houses?
How long are they on the market? That's a conversation. What are rates today? Right? Those are stats that people ask regularly. Understand personality types. Would you agree that there's different personalities?
Yes, that's what you.
Yeah, so get to know that over time. You can ask questions to help you identify if you don't know how to do it. You have something to offer visitors. What is that? Your charm and good looks?
No,
Yeah.
it's just like a flyer, a handout.
A flyer, a handout, a cookie, your app, your knowledge. There's a whole gamut of things you can offer, but be prepared that someone might just want the cookie and not want your app. Okay,
And I think, don't feel like you have to have everything at the house.
don't.
I think it's really great to be able to follow up with them the next day with the information that they asked for, or later on after the open house. Just one more touch.
oh my gosh, Allison, thank you for asking about that house with the third bedroom. I don't remember, or third bathroom. I don't remember its exact MLS number. Can I send that to you tomorrow? Right? So if I do that, what is that gonna do? What do they have to give me?
Their contact.
Contact info. Right? Even if I do know it, and I do have it.
And then the follow-up's easier. Oh, here's the information I said I would get you. What did you think about the house? Makes it a little bit easier.
And you can get almost all the information just without conversation, without having it sound like you're bullet pointing a sheet that you're asking. Oh, so how long have you been looking? Have you been working with an agent? Have you been to a lot of open houses, right? You start the conversation without seeming weird about it.
Right.
When are you looking to buy? Right?
Are you from the area?
Are you from the area?
Hmm.
Have a sign-in sheet, use command, use the KW app, ask questions. Remember, you're there to get leads and appointments. Follow up and convert your leads. Okay, so what do you do with your leads?
Put them in your database.
Put them in your database. What did you not do? I'm pointing to you.
Jesse?
Sorry, I'm open house stuff.
Remember what you were saying? I called the lead off, like a long
Oh.
time later. You put them in your database so you don't have to
Yeah.
go through your old stuff.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay?
That's what.
Follow up with the attendees. Okay, now, let's say that you had an open house and you had 12 people come through and you got their information. And some of them, let's say part of them said that they were working with the agent, some of them didn't say anything. But now let's say the seller has just reduced the price, or they just replaced the roof or the AC or something.
Right.
Is that a good reason to recontact those people? It's a perfect excuse, right? So you gotta follow up with different things, right?
So, if they have an agent, do you wanna contact the agent?
If they gave you the agent's info, yeah, for sure.
So on my sign-in sheet, I ask for their agent's
Right.
name. Like, if you have an agent, prove it.
Yeah, a builder does, someone.
So then people will say that and they don't have an agent, or
Yeah.
they haven't signed with them, or it's like a
So
family.
if they
so-
say that the agent's name, I still call.
Yeah, you should dig down on that.
Yeah, so there's a saying,
Ask if you have an agent, be like, who's your agent?
are we being recorded? Okay,
Yes.
there's,
I think so.
you said yes. There's a saying, and the saying is buyers are liars. And sellers never tell the truth. Now, that is 100% true. And when I give examples, people who've been in business will know what I'm talking about. A buyer will say, I want Rambler only, I don't want any stairs. Then you show them only Ramblers, and then there's a 2-story kitty corner, and they're like, well, why didn't we go see that one? Well, that was a 2-story. You said you didn't want it, anything with stairs. That has stairs. They're like, well, let's go see. Right? So that's what they mean by a buyer is a liar. They'll say, you know what, if it doesn't have a fence, I'm not gonna buy it because I got a dog, right? You see my dog, it's a horse. So they're like, I can't buy a house without a fence. Then they're like, well, I like this one, can we go see it? And I'm like, that one, I didn't share that with you because it doesn't have a fence. They're like, that's okay, let's go see it. Right? That's what I mean by buyers are liars.
Townhomes, absolutely.
No townhomes, and then they realize it's all looking for. Yeah. Now, where sellers are liars, or sellers will tell their friend at work, their neighbors, whatever, they sold the house for $512. Did they really sell for $512? No, they had it listed for $512. They got an offer for $500 and then paid $15K in closing costs. Did they really sell it for $512? No, but that's what I mean by sellers are liars too.
Very good.
Yeah, so, okay, reevaluate your goals. Now, what were our goals? You wanna make sure you did your number of contacts, number of doors, so you can build on it for the next time. Now, when you reevaluate it and you realize, oh my gosh, I set a goal to knock on 100 doors and have 50 conversations, but I only got 70 doors, I only got 30 conversations. What does that tell you need to work on?
Setting.
Time management,
Goals.
your script.
Oh,
Right? It tells you what you got to work on. Same thing with your You didn't get time to ask everyone for permission to use their corner, right? So you just gotta, you gotta allocate more time to certain things. Most of the time, when you look back at what your goals were and you reevaluate them, you're gonna get better, not worse. When we get worse is when we don't reevaluate our goals. That's why the goals are important. Okay? So your next step is to plan an open house. And there's all of that and all of that. Now you're supposed to go into this success system. Oh, your TCPA. Do you guys know what that means? Let's do not call. Do not call. And make sure you check it.
Can we give that to these, insurance people?
In what?
We do that, to these insurance, people? For the last 3 years.
Oh, you mean all of the,
It's a nightmare.
there's so many of them. And it's like you unsubscribe and you get them. I don't know if you guys know what he's talking about. We get calls and texts like crazy on trying to sell us health insurance.
Yep.
So like NAR sold our information to the devil. And they think we're not healthy because they're trying to sell us insurance. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Okay, we're supposed to role play and go through all this, and we're not. We're gonna go into the next class, if I can figure out how to get out of here.
When you go to Google.
Show. Okay, you're up.
Okay.
Any questions on the open house?
One thing I would say is I keep like a little kit. Just ready to go.
Yep, she showed her kit earlier. Those kits you'll build over time. You'll realize that there's certain things in there as you start building them that you've never used, and there's certain things that you use more of. So just gotta remember, you gotta be fluid with them. They'll change. She had, what did she have, airheads or something? I typically I'll do cookies now. We were given examples of different places to do at different times. So if I'm doing a place like on a Sunday morning, I might do mimosas or even just some more juice and some donuts. If I'm doing it by a place by a ski resort, I'll do it in the evening and I'll make it more of like champagne. I'll make it more like that, cheese and wine, things like that. So you gotta do it, change it up depending on where you're doing it.
Can you have alcohol? Is that not
Is that against the law?
yeah, just be.
Well, you can't serve alcohol to minors.
That's true.
But you're not selling it, so you don't need a liquor license.
Okay,
if that's
okay.
your question. Yeah, no, if we find out that you're hosting like a rave, you gotta pay $5 and they get a wristband to get access to your thing. Probably gonna be in trouble.
Solo cup.
Yeah, solo cup, write their name on it. Okay, questions?
Can we get a break, like a bathroom break?
No breaks. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll take a break. We got done with my part early. So you guys need 10 minutes?
What should you do like for your, where you're just starting out, what are the main things that you would recommend and get for your kit?
I would say
Your
the
sign-in
little, the sign-in sheet, a little plastic stand-up thing for more info.
Well, they have sign-in sheets.
Where do you get those?
Mhm.
They're done.
Where do you get the plastic?
And then your
stand-up
stats. You can actually even order them on Amazon. They're super cheap. And you could probably even have it tomorrow.
And
Sure.
so.
And they come in like
Booties.
packets of 10.
thing? What if we don't have?
Pretty cheap and they go
You
for
what?
like, if you buy a 50 pack, they last for, like
You
I.
guys hear
told you
Blake?
about.
Blake's got a whole bunch of stuff he said he can bring here.
Bring like a couple different like open house kits and just leave there.
Yeah, so in time, you'll start building them and adding stuff to them, and they're always different. You'll always have your basic stuff, and then you always have different stuff too.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, open house questions? We need a quick break? Okay, ready, break? An hour break?
No, it's been an
An
hour.
hour break.
Like we're talking about open houses, I'm setting up my open houses for next week. Yeah.
Dinner's in the oven.
I have to say, like, the worst thing is poor execution on an open house, and you feel like you waste all the time.
No.
I hate it. I'm like, you gotta, like, how Sean was saying, when people say open houses don't work, it's because you didn't execute.
Can you guys hear us
There are
today?
some times that it doesn't, that there's holidays or whatever that don't come out for it, but. for the most
Can the
part, they
teachers
don't.
hear us though, like the instructors?
I thought if you have enough signs and you.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
It was a time last year that was pretty rough.
Maybe they
Sure.
just have it muted.
yeah.
I'm
No,
just
that's
wondering
okay.
because like, they
I
talk a
had
lot
one
about
first
things
house
to
that
do
sat
for
on
people
market for
that
more than
like
3 weeks.
have a bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah.
time or that
Yes,
like,
so when we
like
were
I'm
used to
just
going,
wondering like, what
pretty
are
much
the
in one
options for
weekend, that
people
third
that like
weekend
have a
passes and
9
you're
to
like,
5
oh
and
my
like
God, what have I done
necessarily don't
wrong?
have a
Yeah.
sphere,
And it
you
was
know what I
just, like,
mean?
the-
Like,
The change.
Yeah, we cut the tail end of that.
like
Luckily,
if,
it
like
was
if
not
you were to move
well,
to
we
Utah and
ended
wanted to
up
be a
selling it,
realtor and like, how would you get it going? You know what I mean? Like,
I
that's
had
more
one
where I'm
under
at.
contract 3 different times.
24 hours.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it's like, I don't care if I get paid on this one anymore, just make it happen,
Right.
sell it.
Well,
Just
yeah,
Finish the transaction.
the sellers have high expectations, but everything's going so fast. Okay.
Thank you.
It's cold. She's not used to cold water, hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So execution.
Well, I think like how he said it, you just make it happen whenever you can, you know?
Mhm.
It's just doesn't have a formula though.
Yeah.
So,
Because you're also trying to take care of your own.
but it's
holiday
basically
stuff.
kind of like studying the area. I just wanna say that, like if you study
Yeah.
the area and who are the potential
No,
people
not
that are
often.
coming around, you know, like he said, like, well, there's a church.
So
Sunday might be a better
Dalton
day,
did
you
this
know,
ton of-
or
I think Dalton
I don't
had one
know,
house class
maybe
every day.
sometime a Friday night, like Friday
And
evening or
he
whatever.
did, I can't, working
So-
man's open house is what I think he called it. So you do like a Friday night, and then like a Saturday morning, or a Thursday night, and a Friday night. And it's during like the time that people are going home, so they see it on Thursday and they're like, oh, I'm busy, whatever, yada, 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 I can't see that. The second night, they're like, oh, that's that open house I was curious about, they're more inclined to go in that second night. The idea is that they'll go in the second night. He said his experiment was a little wonky because he got more people on the Thursday than he did the Friday.
Yeah, he does not like Fridays.
No.
I've talked about that. Not
Yeah.
Friday ones, it was bad. Just terrible.
Yeah, I'm like in the experimental process right now. I'm like, what really works for me and what, like, and then the other thing is your marketing, like in your signage and all that.
Well, I think the area too, if there's
Yeah.
downtown Ogden or by somewhere, something that nobody's gonna be on the traffic or something, do it. But if not, I don't know.
I've done like Friday nights. Oh, hey.
It's nice if you can get in on that's the other hard part is getting in on like the community pages, cause like it's not hard to get on the yard sale pages, but the community pages, like half the time you get blocked or deleted off of it. And I'm like, come on, man. You do this all the time.
There are 2 of the ones.
Oh, that's a social media tip. If you're posting in pages, don't post a link. Because most social media groups will just automatically post after you post a link.
And then. But you're right down the rule.
Yeah, save the list and write down the roads because you'll waste your time when you post on pages and they don't go anywhere. Yeah,
I gotta move.
I had one for a minute and then. I don't know what.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is everybody back? or not?
I'm gonna get my food.
Yeah. I do do something.
I haven't before. I'm sure that's just the limiting belief in my head is that people don't do open house, or people don't visit open house on Sundays. But honestly, before I was real estate agent, that would be the day that I personally would be most likely to go, now that I'm thinking about it, so.
Maybe Utah, but.
I like Sean's point about it being like if you're by a church, like that's a great opportunity. I'm moseying in because it's a free afternoon. So, yeah, I don't know, that's tough. and then it also, like I said, sometimes it depends on just the area and the, time of year, the weekend. Like some weekends are, like, it's crazy. Some weekends, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of buyers out there, and other weekends, I'm dead. It's weird. But yeah, to make it worth it, you gotta do your door knocking and spend the time.
And again, with the door knocking, some neighborhoods are awesome to door knock. You get smiles and friendly faces and conversations, and some you get and it's just.
Yeah, yeah, you know, one thing that I always find is funny is like, this says no soliciting, but agents in other places are called solicitors. Yeah, you're soliciting on somebody else's behalf, you're like, we didn't used to be called agents, we were. It's one, but so technically, it's one of those things, shouldn't technically not have no soliciting doors, we just had this conversation.
Yeah, we did. I do. The only time I don't is if they've got like multiple signs or if it has something specific, like only neighbors. And friends.
If I see a bunch of those signs, to me, I'm like, they have a problem saying no, I'm gonna knock it.
Is how much fear people will actually have. Like, it's like they're suddenly like alarmed that they've got a whole human being in front of them and like, you're gonna magically talk them into spending. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to sell this house.
And while you're at it, would you like a home security system?
Or solar.
Solar, yeah. I mean, I almost wondered how well, somebody should do an experiment. How well does it go if you start out with, I'm not here to sell you a security system or solar.
That might be a good way to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, then maybe they'll laugh. Who knows? I bet you'll get quite a few laughs if you start that way.
So not only she was saying the door knocking.
The safest.
On social media, like where you're. Because I'm gonna be up and down, like sitting down.
Susan, thank you.
My balance is really off today, so. I'm not gonna fall, but I'm just. I'm steady right now. So.
Our
What were you gonna say before?
I'm totally lost. I don't know. So go
I was
ahead.
gonna say one more thing on the no slip sign. It's very, very rare that I've had someone with no slipping sign be like,
There's
no
a.
slipping, get out of here. It's been like 2-3 times.
They were excited about
Like,
the
nothing but times I've done that.
the next
I have a
one.
hard time not taking it personal.
Yeah.
Like the 3 times it happened to me was enough. I'm like, it's not worth the stress of wondering if they're gonna yell at me while I wait for the door to open.
Even for open houses, you don't know?
It will depend. If it looks like a neighborly looking house, I might, but I don't, not usually.
You don't like dig in more and like, never mind, try and
It's-
poke the bear.
It's just that it's not worth it. I've come to learn your time is precious. I'm not gonna spend my time on people that are gonna be a jerk to me. Like, they're not my people in that case, so.
Usually what I found, is if you do knock on them, people are so angry about what the neighbors.
That's true.
That's the only reason I would.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, yeah, so like they might get, I mean, that's it, give them the quick version. Yeah.
Is currently in the
Social media.
Temperatures
Is everybody on social media?
Yes. Yes.
Did everybody have the bites and insights last week? Lots of information or not, good information.
It was very good.
Right, so Patrick leads us with social media, that's what we're gonna talk about. I guess getting leads off of social media or not yet?
How much?
Okay. So basically, we're just gonna talk about like posting practices, social media strategies, just like daily things that you can do to gain leads. I'm not so good about the daily thing, but I also have a virtual assistant that does it, so. Anyway, and then get engagement systems too, so like putting together your system for social media. So, does somebody want to read?
It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it.
Joanne, can you mute yourself? It's blocking her out. I can't hear.
Oh, did I go backwards? No, we're gonna talk about engagement first, so engagement systems. We talked about this a little bit during the Rights and Insights, is the 10, 5, and 1. What do you think the 10, 5, and 1 are?
That's 10 like 5 comments, 1 message.
But you're already on their feed. When it's even do like a quick little note on their thing, but I find that helpful if you do, you're already there. So I usually just bring do a quick comment. Also with doing that, if you do a comment, try to make it so that it's 5 words.
5 comments, 5 or more words.
Yes. Because the algorithms for some reason like that rather than just like a hey. They don't wanna like.
You do 5 emojis.
I don't think it'll reward you for that.
Think that it'll count the same, but you can try it and see.
Asking a question is always a good thing. So then it creates more interest in whatever their post is. They might be a little bit more appreciative of it, and then they have to answer. Well, I would hope they'd answer.
You think, right? And then one thing that I was gonna also say, like, I found this with mine, is I have all the intention of working on the social media or posting something. And I do a question that I'm gonna have to have a lot of engagement. And then I don't have enough time, and it gets away from me quickly, so just make sure that you do stuff like that, just make sure that you block that. For it. Yeah. So that's kind of it. So, yep, you got your 5 likes or loves. I mean, sorry, 10. And then your 5 comments. And then this is share direct post, direct message. Sometimes people don't see the direct messages because they get caught in those filters, so. It's completely up to you. Try, see what you can, like, maybe make a comment, hey, I'm gonna DM you. So that they'll go and check.
I think that's a great idea. Make a comment. If you like, you're gonna comment about something about their, like, I think if they see your name come up twice in their notifications, they're more likely to be like, oh.
I just think I've noticed that a lot of the messages, if you haven't ever messaged them before on social media, it will like get caught in filters. And they won't see it.
Yeah.
Then any ahas on that section?
I have to say that it's such a simple strategy and it's challenging to execute. It's harder than you think. It's easy to go on and just like and heart a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But 5 comments, if you're not somebody that natively does that, that can be a challenge. It takes some practice and work to get good at like thinking of things to comment about or questions to ask that can cause engagement. And then one message is easy because there's some agents that do 10, 5, 5, so 5 personal messages out. There's a couple different ways you can do it, but it's like anything, it's really simple. You just gotta do it.
And a multiple, if you're doing multiple social medias, Facebook.
Oh, yes, that's very true. Like you could spend half your time or a third of your time on the different social medias. And then another thing that we've started to implement that's similar to like your daily actions with that is adding a friend, adding 1 new friend every day, which that's 365 new friends in a year. You know what I mean? And like, if you're making 365 new friends, how many of those people are going to probably 6% of people want to move. So if you've got 300, just do 300, that's what, 18 people that will need to move with those new friends you have, likely, minimum. Huh?
So
What if you're all, you have 5,000 friends? And that's another thing is like, sorry, This is, I'm thinking about the rabbit hole things, but like who your friends are on social media. So like when you first become an agent, it's really common that like a lot of other agents or lenders or title people will reach out to you and friend you. I accepted all of those because those people can cause engagement on my posts, but then on the back end of that, those are the only people that are seeing my posts and they're not people that need to buy or sell. So be really mindful of who you accept as your friends, because then you're in a situation like me where I have 800 people. I really only know 300 of them. I have to go in and.
I wish mine was better.
Do you? I wish mine was higher. That's one of my goals this year. But yeah.
When you're like, add one new person a day, I'm like 30, like.
Do you really?
Oh,
That's
it's
that's
awful.
why you're the social media master.
It's awful. It's like,
So,
wait, go ahead.
Is that part of it, guys?
don't have your clientele, are you close?
No, I add them.
You can have.
Before.
But okay, so here's the thing with that though. Be cognizant of what and when you're posting. So if you haven't responded to their text message and they see you're out having fun, that might cause a little
That's what I-
sore
that's what I say.
feelings. Yeah, so just, I would say, you definitely want to friend them, but be cognizant of it. Like, don't leave unread messages or unresponded to communications.
Cause we don't have
And-
lives.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, in their eyes, if we're not working on them 24/7, we're neglecting
And you
them,
are,
so.
and they are your only client.
Yeah, and a lot of people are really nice, and they don't necessarily feel that way, but inside, that's kind of how most people end up feeling. So you just.
I'll explain one backside stuff, just so you know that. Is because I'm not at their house working. I'm still working.
I almost don't think you need to do that. I feel like there's some things like that where if you talk about it, it puts more focus on it and it makes them aware of it, where they might not even be aware of it.
Or it's brought up. Because if I
Yeah.
can tell they're like, what are you doing? You know, you should
Yeah.
be at my house, sitting there all day, waiting,
Waiting for somebody to come and see it.
like Chuck
Yeah.
Norris.
So my issue is, I got so many friends on social media that they were already my friends. Like, I sold this couple like 3 houses already, like they've been my friends for a long time, so. But I communicate with my clients, like, not overly communicate, but I'll say, hey, like, I'm gonna have my phone on me. I'm not gonna be like available, so if you wanna like talk to me, let's talk before 5. Yeah. I always have those conversations. I do get a lot of my leads off of social media. I don't add those until after I've met them.
Kind of vetted them a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that, do you get them from just staying relevant?
Yeah, and my posts, like, so in the Bites and Insights, I explained, like, I have a company that does lease options. A lot of people that are interested in lease options don't know that they can buy it. So that's where I'm getting a lot of my stuff, is I post about lease options. And one of my first questions is, do you know what your credit score is? And they'll say, well, I think it's like 720, or I think it's like 680, right? And they don't know. Well, don't I need a down payment? Well, no, I there's programs that help you with that, whatever. So it just opens the door, but another thing is I'm pretty direct with them, so when they start asking about it, I'm like, hey, what's your phone number? What's your email? Like, I already am asking them for their contact information. Would it be faster if we jumped on the phone real fast? So I'm having those conversations. I want to make sure that they're a real person. But yeah, I explained in the Bites and Insight class, like one of my best friends, my really good, she is my best friend actually, so. She was one of the leads that came through on a post. And one of the things that she said to me, was, does this mean that we're never gonna talk again? I said, no, this means we're talking more. So.
Speaking of that. Geez,
No, but like, we did get really close, so like. You never know if you're gonna,
so do
it's not that you're gonna meet,
you set aside so much time this day for to social media?
like each day.
Yeah.
I used to, but I have a VA that helps
nice.
me a lot. So she does all of my back end stuff. Cause I wanted to get that off my plate. I also wanted to get off the data entry, like putting all the open house sheets into command, cause that's hard. Out of sight, out of mind, you know, you leave the open house and you're not thinking about it. So I wanted the stuff that wasn't making me money, like eventually it will make me money, but it's not making me money right this second. I want it off my plate. And I've done that the last 2 years. And it's worked out great.
That's a good problem to have.
I try to do my 10-5-1 during lunchtime, because I'm already gonna be sitting there scrolling anyways. I may as well use that time to, because you know, you're gonna sit there. So nobody wants to be doing other type of work things. You're already scrolling, you may as well. And then I schedule any content creation or posts after lunch.
So you do schedule
It's in my calendar.
it.
Are you posting it after lunch or are you using a system?
But I will post personal stuff after lunch. I do use the Meta system for scheduling out posts. Again, I've only just recently started doing that, really tapping into it, because we have a team Facebook that is managed by a VA, but I figure I should probably keep my own business going too, as well as the team. So I'm starting to work on getting that scheduled out.
I think that, as you get busier in life, right, cause you don't really know how busy you are until you get busy where you can't even go eat or go to the bathroom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start scheduling everything, so you just get in the habit of scheduling. You know, it could be 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon, and then whatever follow up. There are various systems on how to do it, but just put them in your calendar, get used to it.
Yeah.
And you'll learn that you might have to move it in your calendar based on what other else you have going on, what other activities, and what other times might be different. So each person in here, and I'm not the expert on where to find it, but it'll tell you, I think they refer to it as your insights, right? They'll tell you your insights, and that's going to tell you when your friends or your followers, whatever it is, when they're most likely on. And that's the time you should be doing it, right? So if you're always doing it at 10 a.m., but then you learn that your people are on at 3 p.m., then you might want to move your 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And you only
Does that
get
make
that if you've got like if you switch to business profile. So you've got to switch to a business profile, at least on Instagram, and then you have to have a page on Facebook, or is a verified person is another option. I'm not sure.
They change it all the time.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand. I just work on my, that's why I'm not using social media. I don't know what's going on. I just keep trying to.
Okay, so posting practices, we gotta have a system for posting. They say an 80-20 rule, so make sure that you posting like 80% personal and 20% business, if you got a business page. And
You invert it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, I don't know, I don't do that. And then my Instagram, I don't do that at all, like I just post personal and business and I just go from there.
Well, you're a pretty boring life.
Me?
No, me.
Oh.
That's the same thing every day.
Pretty consistent. So what I do is I've laid out what I'm posting every day. So like, I think it's like Tuesdays I do, oh my gosh, this or that. So like, do you like ice cream or do you like sure, like sort of things?
Just finding out who's about.
Yeah, but most of the stuff that we post is figured out before Sunday. And then it's scheduled out. So you can still have a consistent life and do your thing, but then find your content on whatever you come up with. Like, let's say you do Community Fridays and you'll tell everybody, you're telling your followers what's going on in the community on Fridays for the weekend. So at that point, then you can find out what's going on the weekend and then post that'll snippet, whatever.
I guess the one word, somebody have like a modern, like a. Like traditional craftsman style home, with different rooms. And it's like, which one do you better?
Yeah. Yeah. Or even you can put a kitchen, like a before and after, which one do you think better of the before and after?
I
Whatever.
find those ones don't get a lot of traction.
A lot of traction on the before and after.
Before and after, probably. I think that this or that on like styles of houses. I don't know. I just don't often get much traction on those ones. You get better traction on like weird things that are like polarizing, like, oh, like how to take a hot dog, like with ketchup and mustard, or, you know, onions and mustard, or relish and whatever, you know what I mean? Like pick something that is surprisingly polarizing, and that'll get you a lot of traction too.
I think on the this or that, if you're just having homes too, you can put. Would you rather have, hardwood floors or carpet? Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that, that it makes a difference too. And then, what's that?
Many.
And just stuff that, you know, like asking them like what they would look like, or if they wanna, do they want a swimming pool, or do they want, a volleyball thing? I don't know what people have in their backyards. So like tie it into like what, have them pick. So anyways, the 80/20. So personal stuff like posting about your pets and kids and birthdays and, if you go to the gym all the time, or just like hobbies. If you are, like you have it like ride bicycles or motorcycles, whatever, like post that stuff.
Real stuff that isn't necessarily flattering tends to get a lot of engagement as well. As weird as that might sound, I posted a photo a while ago that was my before and after of getting ready in the morning. It was like one of those like moments where you're like, I really don't want people to see this, but I put a post on it that I put, you know, just a sincere message on there, like, you know, nobody sees the hard stuff that everybody's going through type of thing, and people loved that. You know, just, I mean, there's lots of different things that you can do. I mean, I wouldn't say like go out and share a shop story every week, but like, you know, just a varied, like, well, I mean, you can get online and there's a bunch of like calendar plans and content ideas. Like, and you don't even necessarily have to pay for it. Like, get on Pinterest. There's like, I mean, there's plenty out there.
What I'm gonna tell you on Pinterest, if you do share stuff on Pinterest, like get your screenshot and like crop it up. I see so many people that just share it from like not being cropped. I'm like, don't do that. And then like add your logo to it. Like, whatever you're posting, I don't know until you do it. I have a lot of people still in my I put my logo in places that you cannot take it off. I'm not sharing. So there's always that stuff. Get on Canva. And Canva has the stock pictures on there. So like start building your stuff off of Canva.
Or Chat GPT too.
Well, you can find like your photos there and like, and then build it off of Chat GPT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you it's new on Chat GPT. It gets one
Yeah.
Right.
But if you need like inspiration too, like I like ChatGPT for inspiration. Like I need 5 topics related to this to write posts about. And I mean, it does half the brain power for you. You just finish it off with your own touch too. Like it's super handy.
Or need a listing description.
Okay, so one thing, Ogden, everybody knows about the fire that happened in Ogden. Like, if you have friends that posted like other front house or pictures of it, and ask them, can I use your photo? I'll tag you. And start talking that gets the community talking, that gets you talking. So there's just things that are going on in the community that we want, like people are aware that it happened, but the different angles and the different stories. It's good to but also get people talking and bringing things to your page.
There's an agent, who's a $1 million producer, who
doesn't have any other agents on his stuff because they're limited to the amount of people you can have, right? So he removes any agents. There's a few of us that are still on there. And it's I'm on there more for compliance issues, right? Cause he asks me questions here and there. But he does this thing where he's got several moving vehicles, moving trucks and trailers. And he's got one it's called the Swaggin' Wagon. And he'll pull up to like a fair or like the, what are they doing on Ogden in the summer?
Rodeo days 47, or, oh no.
What do they do on
it's
25th Street?
Oh, the Twilight?
They do Twilight, but what's also the thing on Saturdays?
Oh. It's,
Farmers market. Well, you'll go places like that, and just hand out stuff, mugs, t-shirts, things like that. So he's built $1 million business, right? So he spends a lot of money back. But the people who don't realize, if you see one of his shirts at Lagoon, you take a picture and you tag it and do a certain thing with it, they'll put you in a drawing. And he does drawings regularly. And that's why he gives out all this stuff, because he's got the whole community marketing him. Does that make sense? And that's why he keeps agents off his page, because those agents aren't gonna buy a house from him. Right? So the idea is that he's got the community marketing him to other people, to their people. Does that make sense? So that's how he grows this thing. It's kind of ingenious.
He's talking.
No, the fish
That's a good
tacos they
idea.
have today.
What was your question?
Fish tacos at that farmer's market on Saturday are bomb. They're really good.
All right. Next slide. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on. So they just, Ogden City just signed somebody new for this Twilight thing. So maybe we post about that.
I go back to becoming like a local expert.
Modest Mouse is gonna be there, just saying.
That's what it was. That's what it was. But and I just can't remember, but anyway, there's tons of stuff like, Snow Basin has people up there all the time. Like, that's what I'm saying, like, post about the community, like, sometime during the week. This is gonna go on, or like, they have that electric parade on, Washington for Christmas, like, there's tons of stuff that's going on. Maybe even ask, like, the rodeo's coming up, like, well, on the 24th of July, but, start planning that stuff, so like, about, first part of July, they do plan on going to the rodeo or whatever, go down and buy like 4 tickets to the rodeo, and, like, do a giveaway. And I have a lot of luck with giveaways too, but, that's one thing, so we're just jumping everywhere. So then
I would say don't spend money unless you have money to spend though. Red light, green light.
right, for sure, but like,
There's little things you can do, but it's a reciprocation.
Or you partner with a vendor too.
Yeah.
yeah, and they can split it with you or whatever, lenders tend to help out. Some lenders, but yeah, just plan that out for sure, and don't like get yourself in too deep. Sometimes you can even just go to the dollar store and buy some really cool things, so. Just keep that open too. So on your 20% for business, your listings, open house, speaking events, awards, also real estate related stuff, like the market stats. And then community, make sure that you're talking about community stuff. Sometimes some people like posting about different vendors. So if you want to like feature a vendor on your page, or like if a vendor got an award or whatever, or they're having a fundraiser, I think that's opportunities for you to like feature that vendor. But if you post on that vendor, try to have them do something for your client. So like, let's say it's a inspector that you're posting, have them do like $100, $50 off of an inspection, or I don't know, HVAC, free tune-up with whatever, or free filter with a tune-up, whatever. So try to get them to do something. specifically for you, because you're featuring them, so like, and it's a win-win for them.
A lot of times they have. Like you said. You know, even that.
Yeah. So there's tons of options that way. So anyone has on that.
Like my own. All this stuff, like fruit platter, like I go all out. Had to make it awesome.
Yeah.
Now I do. I have popcorn, just think popping bottles of popcorn, you can eat while you're looking at that. I do a little cheer.
Along with that, I like, one of the things, I don't like chocolate. Because somebody always. Chocolate. Yes, that's one of those things like, so cookies and stuff like that, that's why I like to do. Chips, bags of chips or. Sorry, was that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
I like joined in halfway, attention wise.
I did snow cones one weekend and I had 9.
No.
I just have like the, I just have the days of the week, like Monday through Wednesday, and then I have like, different things that I wanna post and what. Approximately what time, because the algorithm will be crazy and they'll want you to post in at specific times. But my issue is, when do you think most people are on social media? In the morning when they're getting ready, that's first thing that they check. At lunch and then after 5. So, and then at like after 8, I think is like another big post. But if you go on TikTok, everybody's on TikTok 24. So, so anyway. Like, did we?
Yeah, it just turned up. I don't know what, Zoom did something.
Oh, did we stop?
I don't know what the site is.
I don't know what it's doing. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's doing?
Where's the slideshow?
I think it's in Chrome. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Where's Bradley?
There it is.
So. Social media strategies, we kind of been talking about that this whole time.
Yeah.
But posting about your neighborhoods. And don't just post about the neighborhood that you live in, post about the neighborhoods that you want to be in. That you want to like sell in. Engage, so biggest thing with social media is engaging, so talking about the 10, 5, and 1. Is engaging. Find somebody that you want to bring up with, like. I do have people that I'm like, hey, I just posted, and they'll all of a sudden a quick text, and they'll go in and like it, and then like it, share it, and comment.
Be careful on where it says congratulate new homeowners. A lot of times, you'll take a picture of your client at, settlement or right after settlement. Say, I love my agent, holding up the thing or whatever. Be careful not to post something that they're going to be by or when you tag them in it. We had an agent who wasn't thinking. Posted a picture of them in front of her house, which it looks like a cute picture, but then she put the address on there. And didn't think about it, but her client was super upset that now the whole world knows where she lives. And that's understandable.
Well, and
It
also,
wasn't thinking.
yeah, and then talk to them about like, hey, do you care if I post? Because some people want, they don't want you to, but they haven't told their family yet,
Right.
so that's kind of an issue.
Because I usually don't, unless I'm like Facebook friends with them, like it's the whole thing. I like it, I'll post it, I'll just post, yeah. This is my life, this is background noise to me now. But I'll do a sold post that won't be their face most often, because,
Blur it out.
well, no, just says like the house and put sold, because just, they may not think the photo's flattering, you know, or something like that. I just don't wanna make anybody uncomfortable. So that's my, kind of how I do it. Like, I don't generally post. I take it, you know, that's the funny thing, is I always take it, but I hardly ever post it.
Yeah, and I always get approval, but is this okay, or do we wanna redo this? Do this picture? Another point that Sean was making. When you're doing the picture in front of the house, like make sure the numbers are not like visible. Even if you don't post the whole address, you can find somebody that address just by like one section, the house number. So just be aware.
You can also find people's address just by their name.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's people don't realize how easy it is to find information on them. So this, their comfort level is kind of what matters.
True, I guess.
Yeah, like if you want somebody's social security number, you can find it, you can track it down. But we still guard social security numbers, you know what I mean? That's one of those things. That's
with
just.
that point, it's a lot easier to find somebody's address with a number than their name. Cause all they have to do is put it in Google and it's right there. And then finding somebody's address, like, yeah, we can. But it's a little bit harder to find. And I don't know what maybe if you're just, you know, Jill, whoever off the street. But anyway, just be aware of the situation. Some people don't want their kids posted, so like.
Yep.
Just be aware and talk to your parents and well, a lot of times I'll tell them, like, I'm not gonna post until you do. So they'll post it and they'll tag me and then I'll post it.
Yeah, have you ever had anyone be like, I'm a stalker, please don't post it?
We had a client whose wife was being stalked by an ex-boyfriend. She said, don't post
Yeah.
her or the kids, don't names, anything, so.
I like to take the photo and then it's kind of a fun touch for the home anniversary to send to them. Like just shoot them a quick message. Like there's probably other things you're doing for their home anniversary for your follow-up, but it's kind of a fun thing to shoot to them like, hey, happy home anniversary, and then you can send them that picture.
Yeah.
Can I get the stalker, please?
So this one is, sorry, just really quick, so it says post about listings. I know that there's agents in our brokerage that will let you post their listing on your page. That as like, hey, that you're the agent, because they want to sell it. So, talk to people and say, hey, do you care if I
Have a bunch of reels that.
yeah. So, ask them, do you care if I go and film? Do you care if I like do a walkthrough really fast or
But
media or whatever?
I always say, do you and your, is it all right with you and your seller? If
Yeah,
that just,
sure.
yeah,
For
just to make
sure,
sure
but
you ask
what I'm
them
trying to
necessarily. Yeah.
get at is they have listings and you can have conversations to
Yeah, well,
get posts. for
yeah,
yourself.
it's similar like the open house things, like people don't need to know that it may not necessarily be your listing that you're posting or the open house that you're holding. So especially if we do it in the brokerage, like I'll always put listing by or home brought to market by whoever at whatever brokerage, and I just put it on there, but in the bottom in smaller print. You still need to be able to see it to be compliant, but I'll just put it in there in smaller script on the photo of whatever I'm promoting, and then that kind of covers that. You should always ask permission, of course, first, but that's another thing is engaging people.
Again, it's free advertising for them on the
Yeah.
house, because they're like, but just because they posted it on their page doesn't necessarily mean
the same
You
people
have all
are
the
gonna
same
be,
friends.
unless,
And you-
I mean, the friends that you do have that are the same are the other 100 real estate agents that you're friends with, and they're friends, so it's okay.
For sure. Okay, so then highlight your business, this is where you can post like the stats for the state or the brokerage, or, you know, fill in your stats, whatever. Client testimonials, yeah, you can start doing some of that stuff. Tech development stuff with, what's that? Yeah. Tech developments, stuff that has to do with real estate, or like, I don't know, even. To me, it would be, everybody wants the smart home, so what's the newest, latest and greatest tech gadget, like, stuff like that.
Oh, dude, in Europe, they have, you know, like. They suck a thing. Yeah, they're for clothes.
Oh, yeah.
It is so good,
Mhm.
looking so bad.
Oh, I've seen that, somebody like threw one at a wall and it went through, yeah, they're pretty cool. So, yeah, so that, just like, do the notes and don't go, that's what I say, if you're gonna post something that you're gonna, you know, you're gonna get a lot of engagement or potentially going to. Make sure that you have the things focused on that and not have to like go back in, you know, a week later, like, oh, I forgot. But that, and the second thing is I got, that's why I got a VA. So, and then add value, post something that that's going to add value to someone that's either gonna buy or sell. If you have any tips or tricks or, like, let's say that somebody, well, okay, everybody knows somebody with bad credit, or somebody that's working on the credit, or something happened with their credit. Like, post something about, a snippet about credit, or something in the news that's about credit, or home buying, or some type of program, or even talk to the lender and get some information from, like, hey, this lender has some great options, blah, 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 and then have them put together the post for you, but you post it and tag them in it.
A lot of lenders have programs where they can automatically pull data, and like it's easy for them to just automatically generate a flyer or a post with your information on it, and all the data is accurate. It's really easy for them, whereas we don't have that data or numbers right at our fingertips for like lending stuff.
Some of my like best reels have been explaining, I was a buyer right now. You know,
For Ann.
Well, yeah, so there's so many options, even like write stuff down, so like you can get some ideas, or search ChatGPT.
Yeah, you say
Ask
ChatGPT, I need 15 posts related to real estate about this, this, and this. And I want to have this tone, and they'll like, it kind of gets the juices flowing.
Say tone,
Tone, yeah,
really?
yeah, or I say, make it funny and quirky. And then it posts, I mean, they're pretty silly, some of them. And I'm like, am I really gonna post that? But like, at least it gets, you know, I mean, it just, that's for me, like, I'm just not natively a creative person when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that's where ChatGPT has kind of been a game changer, because it just kind of, it's creative for me, and then I make it me.
Do you modify that, or do you put it like in the humanize AI after that and make it sound more like a person instead of like chat?
So I'll be totally frank, I've only just really started using it for my personal Facebook page, and then also cross-posting on Instagram. So I've left most of it the way that it is, but I'll edit it if something is really like, you want to edit it for accuracy, like that's your number one reason why you should edit and read through it all. So, or if it doesn't like match with my message, I won't post it. Like, it's not like I take every single one of those 15 suggestions that it comes up with and post them.
Do you know how to put it through the humanize AI?
No,
Do you pay for ChatGPT?
no.
No. Well, if you do,
This
like
is
all you gotta do is you take the post, you copy and paste
Amazing.
it, and then like you click one thing, you see the other one, click there, paste it, and then it changes it, and then it's interesting to see how it modifies what was just there.
You can also like set tone if you pay for it.
Yeah,
And you can like rework. When it's spit out too.
yeah, oh yeah, like, once it's there, you're like, hey, can you
I'm
change this or make it this?
budget
You
right
can,
now where I have no extra money is leaving my pocket unless I can prove it's gonna make me money. So, make me more money. So I'm not paying for anything until I've proven that the free tools don't work.
You know, you said that like helps get the juices rolling, so you have more ideas in one post, doesn't that justify it?
No,
Kidding, all right.
no, everything is good enough for me right now. Again, I've only been doing it for like a month. But yeah, that's like, well, and then that goes to adding value, like, so. Sorry. I like, if you want to add value, being an expert in your field is very important. So I suggest, like, YouTube is the easiest resource to find information. Graham Stephan is my #1 YouTube guy that I like to listen to. He was a real estate agent since 2008 in Los Angeles. And he does like economic breakdowns, mortgage rate breakdowns, things like that. Like, he just posted something earlier today that I watched, and then I created my own reel off of the information that he had provided in that. So like, that's that add value. Like, I was like, our mortgage rate's gonna go down. Well, here's the data, why not? So you're kind of planting that seed of like, if it's not gonna go down, like engaging more, like, oh, so, but the option is a rate buy down. Would you like me to do a video about a rate buy down? Comment that. I haven't got any traction on this. I just posted it, but we'll see if that gets me more, but that is coming from that value add. Like, I'm providing information that's useful to people.
So with that stuff, did you do it with the lender?
No, and I didn't quote rates or anything like that.
Well,
Big, yeah, so it goes back to staying in my lane. I had data like
I wasn't
GDP.
gonna say that.
Yeah,
no.
oh, no, no, I know, I'm just like, for me, like, I don't, liability, well, I'm scared of being,
If they ask
in
you a
trouble.
question, they're like,
they could ask me, I could find it out, I've told on this, I can find it out, but that's the thing, is like, I'm like, oh, ask me a question I don't know, that's probably it's probably good for me to learn it then at that point, you know?
Yeah.
So I never post anything with a fear that somebody's gonna ask me a question that I don't know how to answer. If they're asking me the question, they're interested, and that's engagement, that's all positive. So that's kind of my mindset on that. I'm like, sorry, I'm like,
no, it's really good. So anyway, add value, so like this is again where you can like partner with a lender, partner with a vendor, and like tell them like, okay, so how do you winterize your house? Like, what are some of the key things to winterize your house? What do you do in the springtime to your house? Like different things. There's a checklist on Pinterest that you can just grab it, put it your logo on it and just go, but there's so many options. I actually like, and I've done this quite a bit, is if you go on to Pinterest and just search like weird things that people have seen in open houses or during inspection, like it's crazy. I actually had an inspector years ago, and I'm sure if I start talking, you guys are gonna go, I know who that was. Not me personally, but the lender had posted an attic, and up in the attic, there was a bunch of like mannequins. Well, the thing is at the very end of the mannequin, there was a doll sitting up on the side, like it was walking. It was the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. So, but if you post that stuff, people start talking. So, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is it like, so you could do stuff like that during your inspections, but you want to be thoughtful about it too. It's probably better to pull from other.
Right, that's why I'm saying like pull it off of Pinterest or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not a real thing. I did show a house years ago, and there was a dog kennel. And in the dog kennel was all the Barbies. I'm like, oh, they're all bad.
Barbie.
It was Barbies, it was like some little girl and put all of her Barbies in the dog kennel, and I'm like, and they were all like positioned, like they were just like chilling in the dog kennel. So, and it was wire one, so it wasn't like the plastic one, but yeah.
Yeah, that got a lot of.
It was funny. So just, if you do stuff like that, talk to the agent or
Yeah.
yours, talk to your client, but usually it's just fun things that you can, we came across this on our open house. But anyway, post on social media, we don't have to do that right now, right?
Oh,
Do you want-
activity of posting on social media?
Yeah, we can hurry and get through the
Yeah.
next 9 minutes, or else we can, or we can,
You could post and say, in class learning to be able to better serve you.
yeah.
Do you want to take a photo? Yeah, let's take a photo. Photo. We can get everybody in here. And look, we're taking a photo. Can you smile, cheese? Okay, there it goes. There's photos, huh? Yeah, we know. We like photos, huh?
So,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna post
the
that, guys.
opportunity to Then like, we'll go over more strategies, okay, like be authentic, try not to post things that you're not comfortable with. Like, I'm not a snowboarder, I don't ski, I'm not gonna go try. And I'm not gonna post about it either. So,
Well, that's, on that, well, that's something I found that.
I have to edit it.
Easier when I.
Oh, she was.
sorry, it's hard to hear you.
I found it was better when I was connecting with people that were into things that I was into, than I was kind of trouble.
Right.
So,
Right. And people know if you're faking,
Right.
so. Be aware of that, and just be authentic, and you can like write down some of the things like that you're interested in, what, like, okay, so for bites and insight. They're like, well, what's interesting about you, and I'm like, I do a blink, I like social media, like, what else do you say? That's not like, I don't eat meat. I got little teeny dogs, like, that I got from Korea. Like, there's so many things. I used to work for HP, like, I'm very technical. But nobody would think that the blonde in the front would know anything about server storage and networking. So it's definitely, there's so many things that if you like start writing it down, but if you're like called out on it, like just out of the way, like, I do at least, anyway.
I worry about people wanting to do things with me. Like I posted about Magic the Gathering the other day, and then somebody I've never met before is like, we should play together.
Do you go on Sunday?
To play Magic the Gathering? I don't actually play. It was like reposting a memory from when we did play every Saturday night. And I was like.
There's a group, the reason I said that, is there is a group that plays on Sunday, and my kids go.
Oh, there's lots of, we used to have guild night every Saturday at our house. So it was like a photo from guild night that I had like reposted. Magic the Gathering,
It's like.
the trading card. It's similar to Pokemon, but way more expensive. Yeah, but it like, I'm just like, oh, that's an unanticipated consequence. Yeah.
So, yeah, like if you
You
want
guys
to share.
get random like requests more than guys do, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
On the internet?
Like
Yeah.
on Facebook and stuff, like you guys, you're like, hey, I'm like, really? So the guys are gonna ask like 10 or 15 people to get lunch. Kidding. Right?
Yeah, it's just a lot of issues.
Yeah, what's the weirdest DM you ever got?
I'll tell you later. Tell you later. They get mad, and I've been like, real, like, harassed, pretty much, so, not pretty much.
The double-edged sword.
It is.
No.
I was single for quite a while, so being a single female in real estate is. People will message you and say, show me this house, they're thinking, oh, I gotta leave. No. They just-
Right.
They just have wrong intentions.
Yeah, like I never would have even thought of that. Like
I know.
would think that's, yeah. For sure.
You know, I need counseling after this.
I know. And I at first, well, not at first, for quite a while, I would do the whole. I was super defensive, what do you want?
Right.
To the guy, what do you want? So immediately it was super defensive, but I've calmed down, but, I know what to ask.
Right.
Not like, oh, okay, I'll just show you the house, what time you gonna go? Nope, I want your your phone number, your address, like, I'll have them talk to a lender first. If they can talk to a lender first, I'm not making them. And then the thing that I always tell the lenders, if I send them to the lender, is get a copy of the driver's license.
Do you do that, like, if you get like an internet lead too, be like, have you talked to a lender, make sure they've done that first and then it's.
I always ask it. Qualified, can send me that letter.
On the vendor list. With that word.
Yeah, you've gotta definitely be.
Sure, it's legitimate. But even then, like if they don't send you the letter, then you could just have like looky these and you're just like showing them houses and they're not, yeah.
Yeah, it's like tire kickers, you don't wanna like waste your time.
Yeah.
So you definitely want them to be pre-qualified. So that you know them, like you have a little bit of information about them, but like the reason I do ask the lender to get a computer driver's license is. Potentially out of their address, and have a little bit more information about them. The lender can ask, I can't really, I guess, but. It's scary, and for a while I would take somebody with me. I did have my concealed carry for a bit. As I was talking at the beginning, I have all of my balance because I was in an accident. I have a brain injury and I have a hard time standing sometimes. I'm not gonna carry again and not be able to stand. So I just let that go, but. There's mace, there's all kinds of things that you can get.
Drop my ones. And it was very embarrassing.
Yeah.
Client freaked out. No, like, this is for you. And she's like, no, I'm like, no, like, two for
Did not.
Yeah, I actually had a situation in Ogden that I wasn't carrying and I wish that it would have been. We was walking through and there was somebody staying, what do they call them?
Squatter.
Yep, there was a squatter. And he was just laying there, whatever, and he got pretty comfortable with us. I'm like, we're leaving, sorry, we didn't know. But we just acted like you had rented it out the property or something, but it wasn't super good. But anyway, that's totally different subject. So just, again, just be careful and protect yourself. One thing too, guys, girls, whatever, share your location with someone. That's the only thing I would say. Anyway, recap, like, post, don't ghost people, have a strategy. Kind of decide on when you're gonna work on your social media and then be consistent. Any else about that section? Okay. All right, I'll have to achieve the state, how has your thinking changed, like, just make sure that you're posting consistency. Social media, I think everybody kind of feels the same way. Yeah. For our business, we have to do it. It helps. I promise it helps.
Well, just, I mean, just kind of staying relevant.
Right. Right, post your story, again, like, how long has it been since you posted your story about like why you became a real estate agent? Hey, that's a good post. Post a picture of you and like your story and like your why.
That's the thing is like, you know, you think like, people want to know about it, but people do, they really want to know about it.
They do, because you
know what's going on.
you have very little time to like
And people
for
will
them to like
look into you.
Right.
Who you are, what you're about.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing is the algorithm, I would be afraid of posting it quite frequently.
Well, you don't have to post it frequently, because I don't post it frequently, like, mine was probably a year and a half ago. And I'm not gonna post the same content that I posted a year and a half ago or a year ago. I'm gonna change it, like, it's just like, this is allows me to be, like flexible with kids or whatever. So, you can always change the about you stuff, like, you don't have to be like, okay, I got into real estate because I see everything's not, you can be like, this is why I like real estate or whatever. A lot of you are changing careers, so maybe post about that, like, it's scary, I know, I get it. So just post about that, like, I'm changing careers. It is a scary time to change careers, but I'm hopeful, and this is why I like real estate, this is why I chose to go into real estate.
Changing 9 to 5 to 24/7.
Yeah,
What platform would you say you've had the most success with?
Instagram.
Instagram? Do
She's
you?
got 1 million followers.
Oh, wow. I like Instagram more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you post to other apps to like expand that base? Do you repeat the content or is it?
Sometimes, yeah, I try to get my VA to kind of rotate them out, but what I found, and this is an argument we can have all day long, like, some people say, why would you do that? And it's like, some people are on Instagram and some people are on Facebook, some people just do TikTok, like. To me, it doesn't matter, like, if it's, oh my gosh, if it's repeated, like, it's fine. Cause you're gonna get people that are only gonna be on Instagram, you're gonna get people that only check Twitter. Like, you just gotta do it. And it grows, like, I even post, it's ridiculous, but I even post on Pinterest.
You can swear whole presidency.
Don't want to.
Do you?
Yeah. I be on every platform except. And then I also, like, on, like TikTok, they're always consistently sending me stuff, but. And then offers, like, to, hey, we can post and we'll give full, pay you $1,000. Like, so, anyway, it's like, it's consistency, it's building. Anyway, so did I answer that question?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Yes, I do post on every platform and the same content. I've thought about switching it up, and I've talked to her about switching it up, but I don't. Why you need to.
And I'm sure like there's metrics after some point where this certain post gets more traction. on TikTok versus
Right.
Facebook.
It definitely, for sure.
No, I would say that if you.
What's that?
Red City.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever gonna have social media completely dialed in and figured out, like, it's consistently changing, but I'm consistently researching it and finding out what's gonna work. One of my biggest things is, I don't use other people's hashtags. I don't like to, like, just when you're bored, do hashtag Utah real estate, see how many real estate agents pop up that's in the field.
Right.
So why would you wanna send somebody to somebody else?
Right.
But if you do, Utah, let's get you moving, that's me, and you're gonna consistently see me. Or, the Utah, BE Utah, _state, that's me, so you're only gonna see me.
I actually thought hashtags was the opposite, was to garner what other people are hashtagging, because it gets attention to you, the other way around.
Well, okay, Google them. Like,
Right.
why would we use a hashtag that, like, what is it? Homie was using one hashtag, everybody was using, why are you guys doing that?
Well, because if you're hashtags, a lot of other people are, it makes like the algorithm picks up your stuff more. That's why I thought that's what people do.
It's a.
Or like it exposes your stuff to more people.
It can, but
The use of them. I feel like, yeah, I feel like when they first came out, it was like everybody like do your hashtag. So that then people, you can then click on that hashtag and see everybody else that is posting about that. It was supposed to be like a community thing to bring everybody, but
They
like.
don't do that anymore?
well, if you got like hashtag downtown, that's gonna be like, community thing, but not like hashtag. Or hashtag Keller Williams or KW success. That's for our brokerage. But don't, like, I don't know, like, just be very aware of what hashtags that you're posting.
So the way I understood it was like, if I do hashtag Ogden, you're gonna get other people that are looking in Ogden, or it's gonna reach more people that I could just get myself.
Well, you can, so let me
That's what I-
rephrase this, so do that stuff, but like after your hashtag. So, but don't post like hashtag Utah real estate, like if you're gonna do a Utah real estate one, find your own. And if you guys need help finding your own, let me know, I'll sit down and we'll look at it together.
Essentially, you're saying like if you do that, then what it does is it potentially would be like taking them to Zillow or something else where they're gonna find information from a different realtor. And then they'll get stuff and they click with them and then they sign that.
And it's just like with Facebook, I don't post the link of like the MLS, I'll post a picture, post the information, the MLS number, I won't post the link, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna click the link and then they're gone. They're gonna go like 3 deep and they're gonna be like calling that agent.
So
That's the way I do it.
Did you say if you do your hashtag first,
I do put my.
then everything goes to your device?
Anyone that clicks on goes.
Is it gonna show, is it gonna, is it big? People can do that.
Did I zap?
Oh,
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Oh, that's them.
Oh.
Bye bye.
And you see like. All that's just me. And I'm at least 40 in the people.
We've got a.
Oh, when you were saying pages, you meant like in the Google.
Right
those-
here.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know if it has checklist. Nobody wants it.
The checklist.
Yeah, just a nice checklist.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you want to forward it to Allison?
Yeah.
She's gonna send out the open house playbook.
So, that's what you just, make sure you're aware of that. That's the only thing. I got her number here.
There's another aha right there. Aha.
The hashtags?
Yeah, the hashtag.
Yeah, since the bites and insights, I put doing all the other big
Yeah.
hashtags, even on like YouTube, was doing ours. And then irrelevant to the topic of whatever we're talking about to hopefully catch. Maybe somebody's looking off of the topic itself, but not Utah real estate.
Yeah, just be aware. Again, if you need help, like coming up with hashtags or whatever, let me know. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
For sure.
Okay.
I got a new one that's kind of a joke, but, it's genned up. So, it's a joke, so that one's like not getting as many hits right now, because I'm not using it as much as I've used it for the last 7 years. So. And it is new, like 6 months new. And it's a joke, because my mother-in-law has been saying that for the last 3 years.
Agenda.
Yep, it's agenda. Okay, any other questions? He's gonna tell you whether you like it.
She's my baby. got lots of tricks, huh?